you can use your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card at Quick Trip. Ain't that right, Lamar?
This is CBS.
If you like strawberry shortcake, you'll love the strawberry shortcake sundae we make at Brahms. We start with Brahms fresh pound cake and 2 big dips of Brahms real vanilla ice cream. Then we ladle on delicious strawberry topping, add whipped cream and a cherry. The strawberry shortcake sundae from Brahms. You'll like it.
Looking forward to football at 10.
That cool, refreshing feeling of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum puts a sparkle in your eye, a spring in your step, and makes things lots of fun.
It's that little lift from Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. It's that little lift. Come on and get you some.
That clean, fresh taste Wrigley's Spearmint's got. That little lift that means a lot.
It's that little lift from Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. It's
Look at my face. I'm going to take off all this makeup with something you've never seen before.
Take off.
Velvety Claw's moisture touched with special ingredients that remove makeup.
Take off.
Yet caress your skin gently. Like a real face saver. There's nothing like it. Just stroke and take off lifts away makeup thoroughly. Gently.
Take off.
Even tough mascara. So tonight, try Take Off Makeup Remover Claws.
Take off.
And discover your face saver.
It's new Kool-Aid Coolers with 20% juice. You can ice it, shake it, pop it, cooler. Sip it, hip it, pop it, cooler. Icy fruit is super juicy. Kool-Aid Coolers make it cooler. Pack it, pocket, play it cooler. Sack it, sock it, see it cooler.
Icy fruit is super juicy
with 20% juice.
Kool-Aid Coolers make it cooler.
I just heard about Chicken McNuggets Shanghai. It's this new thing from McDonald's, and I thought, hey, give it a try. Tender chunks of chicken. Look, chopsticks. Chopsticks. We have 3 Oriental sauces, like Cantonese sweet and sour, teriyaki, and hot mustard. And get this, a McFortune cookie. You will meet a tall, handsome stranger. Yeah.
It's a good time for the great taste.
He wasn't that tall.
Of McDonald's.
For a limited time. Near to where you buy 7-Up, you'll find a very special Countdown to Christmas poster. And it's yours free just for buying 7-Up and Diet 7-Up. What a great way to share in the feeling of Christmas. It's the perfect time to stock up on 7-Up's clear, crisp, clean refreshment. And kids get to build Santa's beard as they count off the days to Christmas. Get your free Countdown to Christmas poster when you buy 7-Up. 7-Up has the feeling of Christmas.
Oh, 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 the night before Christmas, an Oreo cookie's waiting for a special guest.
I'll just take a little rest.
Ho, 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 who's that kid with the Oreo cookies? Eating all the luscious chocolate, licking all the creamy middles, dunking all the crunchy cookies like he did when he was little. It's so hard to hide the kid inside with Christmas and O-R-E-O. Bisco.
Don't miss the 15 best videos ever this week on Friday Night Video.
Hi, I'm Steve Martin.
And I'm not.
Hi, Alf here. Me and my pal Brian are hosting all your favorite NBC shows this Saturday morning. It's going to be out of this world.
Sunday, come home for the holidays when Andy Williams and the NBC Kids search for Santa. Then on Valerie's birthday, how do the kids show they care?
A lot of love went into this mess.
And on Easy Street, a spoiled teenager tries to take over.
She's mean and surly.
With all the charm of
Rosemary's Baby.
Come home Sunday.
The Tulsa Promenade. We don't have to promise you the ultimate shopping experience, nor do we have to promise you the bigger than biggest, better than best, more than most, so many shops you can't count them all mall. Frankly, we've got too much style for that. The Tulsa Promenade, stepping out in style.
From now until Christmas, my fellow Crayola bears and I, the yellow bears, the blue bears, the red bears, and the purple bears, will be here at Burger King waiting to be taken home for Christmas. Get a different color Crayola bear every week for just $1.79 with any purchase. Come into Burger King today and give some bears a break. This is a nice place to eat, but you wouldn't want to live here.
KJRH, TV2, Tulsa.
Almost 12.
One last announcement. Women's basketball practice will...
Wow, I'm starved.
Please remember... Brian, would you care to share with the rest of the class?
Clear, crisp, and bright. 7-Up has the feeling of Christmas. For a limited time, near to where you buy 7-Up, you'll find a very special countdown to Christmas poster. And it's yours free just for buying 7-Up and Diet 7-Up. What a great way to share in the feeling of Christmas. It's the perfect time to stock up on 7-Up's clear, crisp, clean refreshment. And kids get to build Santa's beard as they count off the days to Christmas. Get your free countdown to Christmas poster when you buy 7-Up. 7-Up has the feeling of Christmas.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida.
Amen. This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said, and I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That
and
is
getting
the
the hair
best
done
shit
and,
fucking
shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that like playing with the feet.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had, man. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! People. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good week. Good start to their week. Looks like you all are enjoying yourselves. Did you guys have a good eclipse day? Like, how cool is that? That, the sun goes behind the moon, or the moon goes behind the sun, or you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm such a cynical dude. Like, I'm that guy. I'm such a cynical. I think birthdays are stupid. I think eclipses are stupid. I think I'm so fucking annoyingly cynical. I realize this is a character flaw. Everybody's like, oh, the eclipse. And I'm like, oh, who gives a fuck? Like, whatever. Anyway, sorry if I'm ruining that shit for people. Like, I'm like, and it's really weird because like I'm totally like, on the other hand, like I'm really like I'm really grateful, you know, like I have like I'm grateful for things that a lot of people take for granted, you know, like there's times where like let me give you an example, like on like last week, okay, last week, I think like Thursday and Friday, you know, because I've been committing to like sticking to this diet, and I've been committing to uh working out a lot more than I normally do. And so Thursday and Friday, I'm like, no excuses, whatever, you know, and I'm walking to the gym and you know, and of course it starts to rain both days. Uh and oh my goodness, oh no, not you, Grandmaster Sid Sophos, not again.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you, buddy. Elvis Presley, 8th degree black belt, American Kempo, best t-shirt. Yes, thank you so much. I don't think it's my best one, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Okay. Oh my God.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Diane G, thank you. Eclipse money is for nonsense. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate that very much. And Grandmaster Sid Sophos, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Uh-huh. You got any fried chicken? Okay. So yeah. So I was like, I'm walking to the gym. It starts to rain. And I started to get mad. You know, fuck. And then I realized it's like a stupid thing to get mad about because like there's no reason to control it. No reason to, like there's no way to control it. No reason to get upset about it because there's no way to control it. Excuse me, that's the way I meant to put it. And then I started like, okay, how do I deal with my, you know, like how do I manage depression, anxiety? I should apply it to this too. This frustration of the rain, you know, and I, you know, and then I started to be like, man, you know, I started to really think of reasons to be grateful for the rain. You know what I mean? Like, could be really hot, you know, and if it wasn't for the rain, flowers wouldn't grow and sun wouldn't shine. You know, the sun shining wouldn't mean as much and blah blah blah. But I got to tell you, since I did that, I believe that it significantly added to the enjoyment of Saturday and Sunday being such beautiful days. Now today sucks again, but I'm still like really high off of how great and beautiful the weekend was. You know what I mean? So today is just like, you know, I'm not going to let it put me in a bad mood. You know what I mean? I had such a great weekend. And it's a recovery day today anyway. So, you know, and it cleared up just long enough for me to take Clubber on a long walk, you know, so I'm still getting my steps in, you know. So, you know, for the most part, I'm pretty good about realizing that some things that people complain about, that, you know, it's really nothing to really complain about. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So it's weird that I have this way of thinking, yet at the same time, I could be the most cynical shitbag that you ever met in your life. It's just kind of weird. But yeah. I mean, sure, you can't have all sunny days, man. Like you go to California, even that has its like I remember I went to California and California was like awesome. Just I mean, dude, like it was just year round. And then we're it in the spring, close to the summertime, even in the summertime, like it cools off at night. It's hot as hell during the day, but it cools off at night and in the mornings. Like I was in downtown San Diego, and San Diego, like the buildings would block the sun, and you'd be like, fuck, but then, as the day progressed, then it would get nice. And downtown San Diego, like the buildings will block the sun, so it's not as hot. But the thing is if you have this awesome weather for so long, Chula Vista, that's where I was very close to there. When you have this awesome weather for so long, you get droughts, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have these rainy days, man. They're necessary. I can't get into all of, I'm not a fucking scientist, bro. I don't know shit about, ecology and all that shit, and why rain is that necessary besides making plants grow and things of that nature. I don't know all the details of it, but I know that the rain is necessary. Crops grow, they need, farms need it, and so on and so forth, and all this thing. And I got into this whole thing about how one hand washes the other in all of existence. I even got into this whole deep thought. I mean, 2 miles, you got time to think, and I got into this whole thought about thought process about Jesus and God and all this other stuff, and it was really cool. So the best thing that I've ever done to, like, not be such a fucking angry dickhead is to think about reasons to be grateful for literally anything, like anything. You know what I mean? The stuff that seems bad, if you actually make an effort, you will find reasons to be grateful for it, and then you won't be nearly as angry about it. This I promise you, it works. But speaking of which, I'm really grateful for Plevin. I'm really grateful for Plevin because Plevin just provides so much fun. He provides so much fun. And the and I never caught this. This is a couple of months old. I don't know why I never caught this before. But okay, so there's a couple of other idiots that are talking about the John O'Keefe, Karen Reed case, and the issue is that they're dead set in their opinions, and then they'll just spin any narrative, and then they'll accuse people who think Karen Reed is innocent of doing the same thing. And the people who think that Karen Reed is innocent, well, the majority of us are looking at documents and can compare it to other crime cases, which is why I say these other people are idiots, because they cover other true crime cases. Oh my goodness, what?
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Mike Haverty, thank you so much. And underneath your fingernail is one tiny universe. Absolutely. Totally. Now, I don't want to steer this live stream into that direction, but I feel what you're saying. Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I started thinking about all that shit. I think about that kind of shit all the time, actually. Maybe one of these days we'll do like I'll do like a members only stream or a Patreon stream. I haven't done a Patreon stream in a long time. Maybe I'll do a Patreon stream where I'll eat a bunch of mushrooms and talk all this kind of shit. Because if you're going to listen to me in that state, yeah, you got to pay. Otherwise, I'm watching movies. I'm watching Marvel movies. Now, I didn't feel any earthquake. No, I didn't feel any earthquake. But that was up north where most of you guys are. So they're not drugs. Mushrooms are not drugs. Okay. You got to calm down with that shit. They're not drugs. Okay. Yeah. One of these days. Yeah, I know. I'm the worst, Grandmaster. I'm the worst. So now, one of these dudes calls himself, I think it's the, well, first off, there's the drunk ass wine crime lady. And then, you know, what's funny is like, I feel like there's a ton of fucking, I know there's a podcast that I listen to. It's not even original. There's a podcast that I listen to back before, way before I even had a YouTube channel. Like, I was listening to this podcast when I was living in Atlanta. And that was, I mean, that was 7 years ago when I was listening to this podcast. And they were called True Crime and Wine, or something very similar to this one, White Wine and True Crime, I think it was. And they were awesome. I really liked them. They and I kind of got bored with them after a while because I thought that they'd be talking about certain true crime cases, but they wouldn't. Most of the time, it was just, they were a couple of like bougie ladies who have a podcast who talk about the latest fucking Dateline episode and shit like that. And then I just got bored with them. I couldn't relate. They were like soccer moms, and I couldn't, you know what I mean? What the shit they were talking about. I was like, okay, this, you know, I liked them. It got to a point where I just couldn't relate to anything they were saying. But there's, yeah, the wine and true crime thing's been done to death. And so now whenever I hear that name, I'm like, I don't even know who I'm going to be listening to. Which of the many true crime and wine channels am I going to be listening to? Because it's a completely unoriginal fucking concept. Even I would do that. I would drink cheap wine and cover old true crime cases for my Patreon. And then the shit just got traumatic because I was covering like old serial killers, and I think the one that really fucked me up was like reading about Albert Fish and being wasted drunk and just being like, okay, I can't fucking do this. This is too much. And no, I know it's not her, Pink Lady. That's my point, is like, it's the name has been done to death. So I didn't know who the hell this was. And then I just realized she's just some asshole who has a TikTok, and I have a TikTok, but I'm almost never, I don't think I've posted like maybe 2 or 3 videos on it, stupid videos. And I never go down TikTok rabbit holes. I feel like it's just going to melt my brain if I do that. The closest I come to that is scrolling through Instagram. But and so, yeah, Albert Fish was a mess. So yeah, I have no idea anything about this lady. But then there's this other dude who calls himself, I think, the Boundless Millennial. He's a fucking idiot. Let's watch one of his videos real quick. Let's go through that, and then we'll play Plevin's live stream where he discusses things with the two of them. Give me just 1 second here. All right. Sorry, guys, I'm doing something here. I don't know why this is taking so long. This is annoying. All right, let's do this. Let's try it this way. There we go. Okay. All right, let's bring this guy, his video up.
In case you missed it, today was a horrible day for Karen Reed.
That Ryan Albert, his wife Nicole, his son Brian Jr., and Caitlin are not targets of the federal investigation, and I've been given permission to disclose that in open court.
Fuck. Brian Higgins is not a target of the federal investigation. That has been confirmed by the United States Attorney's Office and confirmed to me that I could make that.
Now, I will say that he is a humorous content creator. I mean, the problem is that he's full of shit. But, I mean, he knows how to make these things funny. He knows how to get attention on his narrative. But the problem is that he's absolutely full of shit. So when you're an idiot, you're going to watch this and go, he's funny, so it must be true. So that's all you're ever going to do. There's nobody who, he's not going to capture anybody who has enough brains to know the difference between someone being humorous and someone being insightful in any way. Or someone who can't tell that you're not being both.
Take that representation in court.
Michael Proctor does not object to the defendant's motion for an order pursuant to Rule 17, seeking records from the Mass State Police Internal Affairs Division. So he doesn't object to that, so that motion is allowed.
Who was the target of this investigation? That's what I want to know.
And I've never seen a case where there've been so many butt dials.
So the final evidentiary hearing, Yannetti just wanted to talk about cops' butts.
Brian tried to
Why is this guy all sweaty?
maintain that he butt dialed Higgins. But again, that would mean that his butt also answered the phone when Higgins called back, and it doesn't make any sense.
I don't have time for this.
His butt was in the bed, the phone was on the table. The two could not have met, Your Honor. There was no possibility of a butt dial. Now he's claiming that it was during that intimate situation with his wife that he supposedly butt dialed Brian Higgins. Worth noting that Higgins testified he never heard any intimate noises on the other end of the line either.
All right, well, Yannetti just proved that he's kind of into butt stuff. The federal investigation, I had those phone records and asked questions about those phone records, and they have the minutes, they have the questions and answers regarding these phone records. The federal investigation that resulted in 0 indictments. And that's the final evidence that they're asking for.
You see the misinformation right there? See, we keep seeing that. We keep seeing Plevin and these idiots always say stuff like this, right? They blast it all over Twitter. Why no indictments then? Why no federal indictments? First of all, it's still an open case. I mean, the indictments, if they're going to come, they're not going to come now. This is you're talking like as if everything revolves around the Karen Reed case. You're talking as though the district attorney, Michael Morrissey, and his office have only handled the Karen Reed case. And you're also assuming that that's the only case that dirty, corrupt fucking officials are going to do corrupt things in regards to. If they're handling other cases, they're probably doing other things that are nefarious with other cases. So most likely the FBI is investigating many different cases. Most likely the FBI is, or the U.S. attorney, I should say, the U.S. attorney is building a case that it can prosecute with beyond a reasonable doubt. Oh, well, the Karen Reed case is just the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. Then we have the Sandra Birchmore case. Then we have God knows what other cases that these people are handling or have handled. Oh, right on, Charlene. I'm glad you like your Glare tank top. Right on. Yeah, I mean, it's so this is one of those people right here. This fucking genius right here is jumping to the conclusion that there would be a federal indictment. They would just be passing these federal indictments down like right now. Now, here's the thing, though. When it comes to John O'Keefe's case, if we're talking about just the John O'Keefe case, there's going to be indictments, it's going to be indictments handed down that are on a federal level, that fall under federal jurisdiction. So if Proctor, for instance, planted evidence, which come on, I'm sure he did. If Proctor planted evidence, then he would be subject to reprimand by the Massachusetts State Police because he is a Massachusetts State Police officer. They have an internal affairs division. He is currently being investigated by the Massachusetts State Police internal affairs division. He's absolutely currently being investigated as a result of the federal investigation's findings. This is a fact. So now, again, I don't have a lot of faith in the Massachusetts State Police right now. I don't know how. I mean, if this is going all the way up to Michael Morrissey, then I worry about there being questionable morals and integrity in the Massachusetts State Police Internal Affairs Division. Now, I have no reason other than what I've seen from the Massachusetts State Police so far. I mean, they don't even seem like they're afraid. The things that Proctor did doesn't even seem like he's afraid of being investigated by the Massachusetts State Police Internal Affairs Division. So that right there makes me think, why would I be worried? Why would I feel better about him being investigated by the Massachusetts State Police? You know what I mean? First of all, he's a member of the Massachusetts State Police. Second of all, he blatantly just conducted a shitty, half-assed investigation to the point to where you have to accuse him of corruption. I mean, it's too many mistakes, way too many. And it's the murder of a police officer. Why would Proctor make all of these mistakes? Makes no sense.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Thank you so much. Where is that? There it is. Kyle V, thank you so much. What's the story with the super chat? That looks like Steven Seagal and Russell Brand had a baby. I love my new subs who have no fucking idea like what's going on here. 2F yellow clout fails. Dude looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin's cucked too much cousin Cold Stone. Oh my God. People in the chat can explain to you what the Cuck Church super dance is. The super chat dance. The other stuff, fantastic. Well done. Great super chat. Thank you, Kyle V. Yeah, just Christine, I agree with you. I'm not holding a whole lot of, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the internal affairs. Yeah. Now, hopefully, I mean, we'll see. But look at this fucking guy. I'm gonna go to the gym. And now I've done that, but like that's because I have a live stream set up, already, and I'm trying to manage time. I'm trying to get Clubber walked. I'm trying to get him fed 9 out of 10 times, and I'm just coming back from the gym, and I don't have time to jump in the shower and do everything. But this guy's like, oh my God, I have to run home and I have to make a video right now. Just got off the stepper.
Last hearing, they put on a show regarding the federal investigation and, pointed out a lot of bits and pieces, tidbits here and there. But that wasn't an evidentiary hearing. It wasn't to allow certain evidence to come into this case. That was about dismissing the indictment. It was about disqualifying the DA, which neither of those things are going to happen. So back to evidence. So if we can pull our head out of the conspiracy for a minute and look at evidence, there's no evidence of a cover-up or a conspiracy. Oops. There's literally
no. I love how they keep saying that. There's no evidence of a cover-up or a conspiracy. There's no evidence that we're aware of. We don't know what's in that 3,100-page document. We don't know what's in all that data.
I mean, but I'll tell you this, though. There's plenty of evidence to indicate that an investigation is valid and merited. There's plenty of evidence that a federal investigation is warranted here. Plenty. I mean, all you have to do is read. If you read, you go, holy shit. What the fuck was everyone doing during this investigation? What are these insane motions that Michael Morrissey is filing? Or that Lolly is filing? Meatball, or what do you call him? Lollipop Lolly? What is Lolly's nickname? I don't even remember. So yeah, of course there's no evidence made public, but there's plenty of things to put together. Lunchbox Lolly, thank you so much, guys. Lunchbox Lolly, that's great. And what about all of the motions that the defense has formed, has filed? All of the motions that the defense has filed, and judge approves these motions, yet doesn't enforce them. These motions are so that the prosecution will provide pieces of discovery, certain pieces of discovery, and the prosecution will say, well, that doesn't exist anymore. They'll just say, no, it's not a thing. And then the judge has no choice but to just be like, well, okay, well, if it's not a thing, it's not a thing. Doesn't say shit. Doesn't follow up in any way, shape, or form. And then jokes about it in open court. Makes jokes about the fact that Lolly just blows off all of her orders. But there's no reason to investigate federally here, right?
Literally a mountain of evidence proving that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe.
No, there's not. There's not a mountain of evidence proving that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe. If there were, I would be sitting here saying I would be talking very differently. Cherry can vouch for this. Anybody who's been following me can vouch for this. If you're going to sit there, I mean, if there's all this evidence against Karen Reed, every piece of evidence, if I can't poke holes through it myself, I'm going to be like, I don't know, man. That's pretty damning shit. Like what they've got on Brian Koberger, it's way more damning. But the thing is, I mean, is it enough? That's the question. I question whether it's enough I don't know what the defense is going to do with that. But I mean, it seems like they absolutely tracked this guy stalking those 4 victims, or at least one of them. So, I mean, I'm telling you, like, if there was anything in this case besides Judge Bev making terrible decisions, if there was anything besides that, if there was anything besides this case, besides that in this case, I'd be a lot more worried. If I thought that the prosecution had a case, if I thought that Lolly was presenting a good case, I would be a lot more worried for Karen Reed. And I'd be a lot more skeptical of her too. I'd be a lot more skeptical of Karen Reed. I'd be more skeptical of all you guys. I mean, but the thing is they don't seem to have shit. That's what blows my mind. And whenever they're asking, the defense is asking for what might be exculpatory evidence, for some reason the defense or the prosecution can't provide it. For some reason, oops, it's no longer a thing. I don't know. None of the evidence was handled properly. All of this so-called smoking gun evidence wasn't none of it was handled properly.
See, Colleen Forth, here's the thing is, do I think Brian Kohlberger is guilty? I absolutely think Brian Kohlberger is guilty. I for sure think he's guilty. I absolutely do. The problem is I'm not 100% sure that he'll be convicted. That's what I'm not sure of. I'm not sure that the state of Idaho has enough of a case. I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see. But
not only that she killed him, but that she knew that she killed him, and she tried to cover it up. And that's murder too in a nutshell. So the importance that they're placing on these phone logs, but the people...
See, the thing is as soon as the EMT testifies, it says, yes, I heard her say, I killed him. That's what I heard her say, yes. What's going to end up happening is Jen McCabe is probably going to testify to the very same thing. And then what's going to happen is either Jackson or Yannetti are going to pull out a statement from Jen McCabe, quoting her in that being in form of a question, in an official statement, because it's there. It's there. Jen McCabe even confirms that it was put in the form of a question. So, I mean, that right there is going to raise the question. Well, who misheard who? That question, who misheard who? I don't know. Did she say it in a question, or did she say it in as a statement? I don't know. I don't know. When that happens, that right there is called doubt. Jury can't take that evidence and go, she did it. That's an admission. That is a confession. That's an admission. No, it's not. Because if you have her on Dateline saying, no, I said it in the form of a question, and then you have Jen McCabe's statement, an official document that states Jen McCabe saying that she formed it in a statement, in a question, excuse me, that she formed it in the form of, that she asked it in the form of a question. I mean, that right there doesn't prove that she formed it in a question, but it's not on the defense to prove that she formed it in the question. It's on the defense to make the jury ask the question, shit, what do I think? I don't know. It could have been a question. Could have been in the form of a question. If they go, could have been in the form of a question, and I don't know for sure that it wasn't, then that's not evidence. That doesn't prove that's not an admission. That's reasonable doubt right there, folks. So there's no mountain of evidence against Karen Reed. There's a bunch of shit that the state is saying is evidence against Karen Reed, but it's shit that even before court comes, even before trial starts, we the layman can look through everything and go, this is an easy, this has holes all in it. This is an easy doubt situation here. This is an easy way to create doubt in the minds of a jury. Easy. Proctor lied. District Attorney Morrissey lied to the public. I mean, all of these things. Just the fact that the office of the district attorney and members and investigators that have worked under the district attorney are currently under investigation. That right there destroys the credibility of that entire institution of the Commonwealth, being the Commonwealth versus Tennessee, being the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. That's it. Like, just, I mean, the jugular right there in that whole situation, the jugular is that Michael Morrissey and everyone down is currently under investigation. There's no integrity now behind any of their investigation into this case. None. It's riddled with doubt.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got.
Kyle V, thanks again, buddy. Dude looks like he wants Karen Reed found guilty because the one time he got to second base, he said, "Ew," and she told everyone about it. Plevin's dude vibe. Funny, but really dancing on the line of homophobia there, buddy. Be careful. Be careful. I'm just saying, be careful. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
People in the public, the ones of us that have a brain, already know that, this whole grand jury took place. Nothing came out of these phone records already, and the feds were literally investigating this investigation. It's just a fishing expedition so they can spread reasonable doubt. And none of the evidence is being challenged. The feds corroborated all of the evidence. So, what do we have? We have Brian Albert porking his wife, butt dialing Brian Higgins in the middle of the night. What? And Higgins called him back, and then Albert just hung up on him. Just picked up and hung up. Either because he was busy or he was...
I love how this guy absolutely makes... He's acting like it's the defense's story, that the butt dialing is coming from the defense. No, the defense is merely showing. The defense is merely showing what these idiots fucking said and expected everyone to believe. Let's face it. Like, he's sitting here and he's making jokes about it like it's the most ridiculous story in the world. We agree. It's absolutely asinine. It's asinine. It's a completely unbelievable story. But the problem is that you're failing to acknowledge the fact that this story came from multiple people who call themselves cops. What are you talking about, guy?
Thing came out of these phone records already, and the feds were literally investigating this investigation. It's just a fishing expedition so they can spread reasonable doubt. And none of the evidence is being challenged. The feds corroborated all of the evidence. So, what do we have? We have Brian Albert porking his wife, butt dialing Brian Higgins in the middle of the night. What? And Higgins called him back, and then Albert just hung up on him. Just picked up and hung up. Either because he was busy or he was sleeping and just wanted the noise to stop. I think we've all done it.
You don't know that that's what happened.
But that's it. And from what we know, Brian Higgins was fully cooperative with this investigation.
Okay, so this is believable to you. This story is believable to you that Brian Albert was banging his wife and then somehow in the thrust of everything, like somehow in the throes of passion, this guy butt dialed Higgins. Why? Why? And I thought everybody was asleep. You're also failing to acknowledge the fact that Brian Albert initially said that he was asleep. You're also failing to acknowledge the fact that Higgins originally said that he was asleep until the phone records came about, and then they had to explain themselves. Like, oh, wait, okay. Butt dial. Both of these cops, one of them being a federal agent, lied to a federal grand jury. But, this isn't an important detail. This, no evidence, though, of a cover-up, right?
He interviewed with the U.S. attorney prior to testifying, and, he had counsel with him, and counsel probably told him to stop talking to the other people in the house, stop talking to Brian Albert. So Brian Albert was like, what's going on? And was trying to reach out to him. That means it was a cover-up, right? And the way that they described Brian Higgins, he was like a super conscientious. He served in Iraq, and he's very serious about his reputation, his status, whatever. So it was like strictly following what the guidelines were. Do not speak to other people. And this cop talked to this person, and he talked to Chief Berkowitz. Like, who gives a shit? These are people. Like, anyone that finds a dead body on their front lawn, there's going to be a lot of conversations. And if your circle of friends is cops, you're going to have conversations with cops. They're trying to make it out to be this big thing.
So which one is it, dipshit? Did they have conversations or did they butt dial? Which one is it? I mean, settle on something here, guy. Like, did they have conversations or did they butt dial? Did they talk about the dead body in the lawn or did they butt dial? You got to pick an avenue here, guy. Thrusting caused the get.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
It's buzzing for truth. Thank you. Thrusting caused a butt dial. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It didn't.
Get the fuck out of here.
Cherry doesn't butt dial, she booty calls.
Because Karen Reed is guilty AF. Rumor has it that she was out prior to calling anybody with her GPS off and, scouted out the body, which does make sense. I mean, and she knows she smashed out her car. She stopped in a park and checked out the damage. She moved the cars around, hid the car in the garage, and, he's not answering. He's not answering. She definitely went out and looked for him. And the Reeds are like the Laundries. They all came together in a freaking bomb cyclone to come and get her car, to get the murder weapon, and take it out of the scene, to take it to Dighton and hide it. There are some suspicious things here, like the Ring camera footage disappearing. I don't know when they seized that, if it was the same day, but it doesn't seem like she would have enough time to do it if she had to do it at his house. But if she had like the app or whatever to get into it from her phone, then possibly. But it should have been retrieved unless someone really knows what they're doing to delete it. And who would know something like that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's another excellent point. Thank you, Scott McGinnis, member for 5 months. I know that he said AF. I get it. It's funny. I know. Listen, but I mean, sorry, the guy's just a walking fucking cliche, and that's why it's fucking funny. So the fact that he's failing to mention this fact that the calls were made before John was found, right? Because the calls were made right before, literally like moments before Jen McCabe Googled Haas Long to die in cold, which you don't think actually happened, but the feds think it happened, and anybody who knows anything about tech seemed to think that it happened. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Like that. Cops always had thought that someone started helping her in the beginning to, kind of cover it up, which is definitely possible because she's known for bumping uglies with cops. So who knows who else she was talking to? The reason that they want the phone calls is because her phone
she's known for bumping uglies with cops.
Night is going to nail her coffin shut. And, if they can show other people are making phone calls at 2:22 a.m., that's going to distract a little bit from whatever the hell she was doing. Because, did she call people? Did she get a lawyer? Did she call her brother, the Lexus salesman, to find her a replacement taillight? I don't know.
His father said he's confident she will be exonerated. Absolutely.
No, Gregor Smith. No, Gregor Smith.
Yes.
All right. All right. Now let's get into this dude is one. He's something else. Now, remember, this is a couple of months old. This is 2 months old, so.
Guys, thanks for being here. Tonight, I have two very special guests, Karen from True Crime and Some Wine, the very popular TikTok show, and Matt, who has also become a famous TikToker.
very popular TikTok
Millennial,
show.
how you guys know. We're going to go over the case evidence, but Also, the whole free Karen Reed experience with the wars on social media, the YouTube grifters, and the cultivating. We'll have a lot more fun than usual because these two are much more entertaining than me. Before I bring them on, in the unlikely event that U.S. Attorney Josh Levy
Yeah, I mean, I get it, y'all, but listen, I'm going to be very, very clear about something. What this boundless millennial guy puts in his fucking mouth has nothing to do with my opinion on his opinions on this case. I want to be very clear about that. I don't like pointing that out to me is just, it's low hanging fruit and it's not beneficial to anybody. I don't give a shit what this guy fucking puts in his fucking mouth. As long as, you know, like it has nothing to do with the idiotic things that he's saying.
Is watching tonight. Do the right thing, damn it. If you got duped, don't double down by jeopardizing a murder case. Don't allow innocent people to be smeared. Do the honorable thing. Making a mistake is embarrassing, professionally damaging, but it's not dishonorable. Admitting to making a mistake takes courage. Years ago, someone was lacing Tylenol bottles with poison. Several people died, but they did the hard thing. They pulled every bottle off the shelf. Because they did the right thing, even though it was hard, their stock soared and it became legendary. So just do the right thing. Do it, though, whatever it costs you, because it's the right thing. All right, so let me bring in my special guests. This is Karen. You guys know Karen from True Crime and Some Wine, and this is Matt, Boundless Millennial.
Dude, does this lady and fucking Twattendoffer go to the same goddamn hairdresser? What the fuck is that? How creepy is it how much she looks like fucking Twattendoffer? Seriously, do they both go to that hairdresser? I mean, right. Can I yeah, can I get the not the Karen. The Karen's played out. Don't give me the Karen. The Karen is played out. Give me the true crime idiot Karen. Give me that one. Because I'm gonna be on TV. No, dude, that's what is going on?
Hey guys.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Great to have you. I haven't actually had the pleasure of having Matt on before, or even have seen him live. We all watch his really entertaining TikTok videos, so this will be an experience everybody's looking forward to. Karen, welcome back.
Great. Your editing is amazing. I don't know what you do. I have to reach out to you about that.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
What program do you use for editing, Matt?
I forgot, man. Canceled Karen has the same fucking hair. Canceled Karen absolutely has the same fucking hair. What the fuck is going on? What triggers their brain to where they're just like, this is how I want my hair. I've got to look like a know-it-all who knows nothing cunt. How do I do that? Oh. And then whatever the fuck she does with her hair. I'm at a loss, man.
It's the time CapCut because it's on the phone and it's easy.
Yeah.
But, there's better apps, but I don't have time for that.
No, you do a great job with that one. You have little funny things going on in different corners of the video. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's huge. You guys have a huge TikTok following. And as I was telling you before the show, I talked to a lot of people that are looking forward to meeting you when this case is over. So I don't know if that can be arranged or not.
I have gotten a few invitations for drinks once the case is over to celebrate. So
I have a few people on my TikTok. They're like, tell Matt I want to be his bestie. I'm like, I know, me too.
All right. So I want to ask you both this. And this is a question that I had asked Karen previously when she was on the show, but we'll have her do it again because there might be some different people here tonight. But we'll start with Matt. So bring us through the evolution of your thoughts on this case. When you first came into it, learned about it, what grabbed you and made it interesting, and then how have things changed? And for the moment, let's just stay focused on the case, not so much the other aspects of the free Karen Reed experience.
Yeah, for sure. So I first heard about it from my brother's girlfriend, and I'm in Florida, so I wasn't aware and whatever. And but this is the kind of stuff that I talk about on my channel anyway, like corruption, that kind of thing. And she's like, oh, I have the perfect thing for you. And I was like, oh, great. So I, consumed a lot of blogs, and I was like, oh my God, this is a great story. So I started I made a couple videos on it. And I was going down the rabbit hole reading all the blogs, and then I started to find the court documents. Read through those. I mean, I never really believed the dog bite thing. because I was like, that's not dog bites. So like certain things were like I could tell that I was a little bit biased because I was like hoping that they didn't test for like the dog DNA. I was like, I don't think they should do that because I just want.
How are they not dog bites, dude? Like, how did you come to that conclusion and go, there's no way that came from a dog? See, here's the thing is, I'm not 100% convinced that they came from a dog. I don't know. I wasn't there. There's no dog DNA. You know what I mean? So I don't fucking know. But the thing is, though, is it makes more sense than it being fucking road rash. It makes more sense than it being a cocktail glass that broke. I mean, right. I mean, right, Cherry, I agree. So it makes more sense than any of the fucking insane theories that the prosecution gave. Because I mean, if it's let's get real here. If it's a broken glass or road rash, why are those specific wounds concentrated on that one part of his body and all around his arm, not just on one superficial spot, all around his arm, what clearly looked like bite marks right on his elbow? I mean, let's get real here, dude. Let's get fucking real here. What did you think it was? Because if you're going to say that's not dog bites, well, then you got to come up with something that makes sense that it is. And I'm willing to wait. I'd love to hear that. Because I call bullshit. Like, you have to be blind or stupid to completely dismiss that as an animal, as something inflicted by an animal. Right, a plow ran this guy down, right? Give me a fucking break, man. And then, you know, this guy got all these marks on his arm. How? So Karen backs into him. He flies back, what, 12 feet? He goes flying back 12 feet, lands where? Lands on top of his phone, face up. How did he get the wounds on his arm? His phone underneath him, and he's face up. And you're going to tell me that this happened, that he got those wounds from being hit by a car? That makes absolutely no sense. Because if he hit, I mean, if he had to have hit something hard on the grass, on the lawn. If he flew back 12 feet and landed on the lawn, then there had to have been a rock or something to have cracked his skull. Excuse me for being so graphic here, but there had to have been a rock or something. Did they collect anything, dig something out of the ground that was sticking out of the ground that cracked his skull, and then test his blood on it, find his blood on it? Because it doesn't make any sense. There's absolutely nothing about Karen Reed hitting his car and him suffering those injuries. Karen Reed hitting him with her car and him suffering those injuries. There's nothing about that adds up. There's nothing about it. And he's got a cocktail glass. Like, yeah, get the fuck out of my face, dude. None of this makes sense.
I just wanted, I don't know, like I didn't want to change my mind. Like the conspiracy thing, it sells. Like that's what's big. That's what people want to hear. That's good for your views and likes and all that. And so I think the big one was, I was reading one of his blogs when Turtleboy was talking to Paul O'Keefe.
I'm telling you, honestly, I came with the subconscious intention when looking into this case to disprove a conspiracy, because I always support cops on this show. I always support cops. So I was not ready to jump into this and go, oh my God, I bet there's a conspiracy here, blah, blah, blah. I did not want that. This is what's funny is I went into this looking into this, wanting not to find a conspiracy, to disprove it. Possibly to expose Turtle Boy for being another JLR. It's not what I was hoping to do. It was what I was expecting to do. It's what I just, it's too unbelievable. It's too unbelievable. And then watching Turtle Boy's videos, I was just like, wow, this guy's aggressive. But having looked at everything and following this case for as many months as I have, I've come to the conclusion, I've come to the personal opinion that Turtle Boy's tactics are necessarily aggressive. His tactics are aggressive, but it's necessary. So I had no idea I was going to feel this way. I had no idea I was going to reach this opinion. It doesn't logically make sense going into this thinking that. I would make fun of somebody who went into this thinking that, and then this all turned out to be bullshit. I'd be like, dude, yeah, okay, you just won a conspiracy. That's none of this adds up. But the problem is that more adds up to this being a conspiracy than Karen Reed hitting John O'Keefe with her SUV. There's just more. There's just more. Tons and tons more that add up to some nefarious shit taking place and people with a lot of power signing off on it. That's totally what it looks like. And I don't like it. It disappoints me. I want it to be something as simple as an officer was struck by a vehicle. They got the person responsible. This person is standing trial. They have enough evidence, and they're going to convict this person, and this man is going to get justice. I would love it to be that simple, but unfortunately it is not. Because there is nothing that indicates that Karen Reed actually hit this man with her car. There's nothing that actually supports it, is what I mean to say. I mean, there's stuff that says she did, sure. The problem is there's absolutely nothing to support it. The support is non-existent. And that's what you have to bring to trial. Evidence with a solid foundation where it's not going anywhere. It is what it is. You have to look at it and you can't deny it. No doubt in your mind whatsoever. But the problem is every single thing that is brought to the table on this looks shady as fuck. The people who bring it to the table are shady as fuck. And the way that these shady fucking people brought it to the table is shady as fuck. There's no way to deny this. And I mean, when I listen to people like this, you're just turning a blind eye to facts. This guy said he read documents. Either he's lying and he didn't read the documents, or he just chose not to pay attention to all of the inconsistencies in them that brought us all here.
And just like reading through that one, I was just like, I didn't realize that family like totally was like completely confident like that it was her. And I was like, and I saw her that morning and stuff, and I was like, And then I like reread the affidavit, and like the whole dialogue of Jen McCabe orchestrated the whole thing. Once you read the affidavit, it's like, all right, there's no way that she got to all these people.
Right.
And then her health data, like the health data that came out, saying that he was inside the house, but he went up and downstairs before he even got to the house. And it says that in their expert's report, but her defense team still like laid it out as if it happened, you know, the only explanation is that he was inside the house, but it happened before he got to the house. So he was probably driving up the hill or something. And it's like, holy crap. And that was kind of the point where I was like, and then I would think it was like the court date happened right after that. Because I started to realize, but I was like, I don't want to get into it with Turtle Boy. So I didn't want to say anything, but then I saw them all like booing the family outside the courthouse. And then I was just like, this is whatever. And I started making videos about the truth. And that was it.
It's really interesting, the point you bring up there, the fact that John's, there should be a lot of things in this case that give people at least cause to question the conspiracy theory. And certainly one of them is the fact that the victim, John, his family, none of them believe in the conspiracy. That should be something that should have given people pause, right? So
Sure.
Karen, what was your process, Karen, on this? And you're out of state.
Yes, I'm out of state. My best friend lives in Massachusetts, and actually one of her relatives lives in Canton. And so he actually knows some of these people. And she's like, this is right up your alley. You know, she sent me Turtle Boy's blog, that first one that took off. And again, I hadn't never heard about him before. And I was like, wow, this is, you know, again, it's really interesting. It's really juicy. Like, I can't wait to get this on my TikTok. And I probably did the TikTok within a day or so. And this is, you know, she sent me Turtle Boy's blog, that first one that took off. And again, I hadn't never heard about him before. And I was like, wow, this is, you know, again, it's really interesting. It's
Pay
really
close
juicy.
attention.
Like, I can't wait to get this on my TikTok. And I probably did the TikTok within a day or so. And that one really took off, you know, because I was like, all this juicy stuff's happening. That one had hundreds of thousands of views. And then, you know, each time I would hear like a new blog, I would make a new TikTok. And then I think part of it was watching.
John, this should be a lot of things in this case that give people at least cause to question the conspiracy theory. And certainly one of them is the fact that the victim, John, his family, none of them believe in the conspiracy. That should be something that should have given people pause, right? So, Karen, what was your process, Karen, on this? And you're out of state.
Yes, I'm out of state. My best friend lives in Massachusetts, and actually one of her relatives lives in Canton. And so he actually knows some of these people. And she's like, this is
I love that her name is Karen. I fucking love that.
right up your alley. You know, she sent me Turtle Boy's blog, that first one that took off. And again, I hadn't never heard about him before. And I was like, wow, this is, you know, again, it's really interesting. It's really juicy. Like, I can't wait to get this on my TikTok. And I probably did the TikTok within a day or so. And that one really took off, you know, because I was like, all this juicy stuff's happening. That one had hundreds of thousands of views. And then, you know, each time I would hear like a new blog, I would make a new TikTok.
Okay. So this is a lady who targeted Turtle Boy from the start. Remember, I refused to do this. People kept telling me, Turtle Boy, Turtle Boy, Turtle Boy. And I was like, nope, nope. Wait, I am not even looking into, I'm not reading one Turtle Boy blog until I know more about this case. And I've looked at enough of the documentation to make my own opinion. So immediately, right off the bat, she basically just admits right off the bat that she targeted Turtle Boy. That she absolutely targeted Turtle Boy and was using his blogs for content on TikTok. She took his medium and exploited his medium on her platform because TikTok is, everyone's on TikTok. And so this is about Turtle Boy. This isn't about Karen Reed or John O'Keefe, especially. This is clearly about Turtle Boy for this woman. Now, not so much for this millennial guy, not so much for him, but clearly right out the gate, this woman is like, Turtle Boy. She can't wait to spit the words Turtle Boy out of her mouth. It's fascinating.
TikTok, and then I think part of it was watching that and talking to my dad. My dad was a lieutenant, you know, and he's like, Karen, no, it's not possible. So that, and then also the fact that, and even with what he was saying with the Apple data, like obviously he wasn't in the house at that time. And then I'm like, does my car really monitor me? Like, does it register me taking steps when I'm driving? And I didn't think it does, but it does if you're going up or down a hill. So really, he was a big part of it. And then again with the family, because I realized not one person that actually loves John and knows John and even his friends believe any of this. They know exactly what happened, you know. And then I spoke to some of John's friends and we were laughing on the phone about how kind of crazy this whole conspiracy is, you know. He's like, how could Jen convince Karen that she hit him? You know, it's like, I don't care how drunk somebody is. You're not going to be able to be like, oh, by the way, you hit him. And now start telling everybody that. So it's just crazy. But listen, we were all in the same spot at one point. So I'm glad we made it back to reality.
Yeah, actually, Matt brings up another really interesting point there when he says how all of us as YouTube, content creators, me on YouTube and you guys on TikTok, recognized early on that this would be a conspiracy cell and this would be something that would be juicy that would help get us followers and stuff like that. But then you get to that difficult point where you're like, all right, maybe this doesn't really add up, and it's against your interest.
Exactly.
So,
and that's a big thing I wanted to point out, because I can't tell you how many times they say it about you, Kev, about me, that, you know, we're grifting, we're trying to take the opposite point of view to get more views. And I'm like, listen, I deleted all the ones that had the most views, and these videos, right, Matt, they have so much less views than any other case that I do, because in the Turtle Land, this is the biggest thing ever. But in the real world, there are many more cases that are much bigger that people are more interested in. And it's like, we're taking the hit, and then we're getting accused of doing the opposite. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But isn't that true? You all lost either views, follows. So I'm just saying, it's like laughable.
I lost like 800 during one show.
I mean,
it was like literally back in September when Turtle Boy was in there. Kind of, he kept.
This guy also admitted when he was talking that he read blogs, that he didn't start reading the documents until he was reading all the blogs. Now, to a certain degree, I understand that. I understand that you're reading someone's content and you're like, okay, I'm interested and I'm going to look into this case. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is that that seed is planted in your mind already. That seed is already planted in your mind. Okay? You've already got the impression of somebody and someone's opinions, because again, this is the thing. The main reason why I refused to read Turtle Boy's blogs before I started looking into this case and reading the actual documents was because it was opinionated. I don't want to be influenced by anybody else's opinion, and I don't want anyone to have to be able to say that I was influenced by someone's opinion. There's nobody that can tell me that. I was recommended this case by two creators who I know to be extremely objective. And so I said, okay, I looked and they were like, you can't listen to, you can't read articles and listen to, news clips about it. That's not going to cut it. You have to actually read the court documents and the statements. You have to do a deep dive. There's no, so I was like, all right. And when these two creators said this, that would be Deets on the Streets and Tracy Ann Chasing. Those two creators told me this. I was like, okay, all right. And I knew to do it exactly how, because their credibility with me is solid as far as how they look at the cases, most definitely. And so their credibility with me was absolutely solid. So I was like, all right, that's how I'm going to do it. And then I was like, I'm going to do it live. I haven't looked into this case at all. And then I fired up a live stream and then I started looking into it. So you guys actually got to witness in real time me looking into this case and familiarizing myself with this case. So these people clearly were influenced by other creators. And I always recommend against this. When you look into a case, as long as you have the common sense to be able to look at them and say, okay, this is their opinion. And even if they're spewing facts, they may be picking and choosing facts that will spin their narrative and amplify their opinion more. That is very, very possible. And it's very likely because it happens all too often. So when you're looking at least two people on this panel, I don't know exactly how Plevin got into this case, but Plevin's more or less a local. So, but the other two people are basically admitting that they were looking at other people and taking in other people's opinions before they actually looked into this case themselves. So they were already infected by other opinions.
Accusing me of both sidesism.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What a crazy thing to accuse somebody of. Like, that's a crime, both sidesism, And so, and I accused him. I said, well, you're working directly with the defense. And he said, liar.
Oh.
and
I actually agree with Plevin on that. Both sidesism. Okay, whatever the fuck that means. But I mean, I know what it means. It's just a weird way of wording it. But it's totally cool to be on the fence. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's totally okay to be on the fence in this case. Absolutely. It's totally logical to say, I am going to wait till trial to form my opinion. It's perfectly logical to do that. Now, make sure you take in all of the information available prior to trial. Make sure you do that. But it's okay to not form a solid opinion until trial happens. It's perfectly okay to do that. Because trial is where you're going to know definitively that you saw everything that is in reference to this case that's going to be considered evidence. Anything the prosecution presents is going to be considered evidence that they plan on being damning to Karen Reed's defense, that they plan is going to be is going to lock her up for good. So I believe that the prosecution has already showed all their cards. I believe that they have. I believe that they've at least told us what they plan on showing using their cards. And all you have to do is a little homework. The taillight, the fact that they're using this taillight, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke because the taillight means nothing. The taillight means absolutely nothing. There is too much doubt in the taillight. Just alone, just the chain of custody involving the taillight is a mess. The suspicious circumstances in which Berkowitz just happened by and found a piece of taillight is a mess. All of this shit is a mess. There's no way that you're going to be able to present these facts to a jury and a jury's not going to go, I don't know about that taillight, man. That taillight doesn't sound so solid to me. And if a juror says that, they're going to go, I'm not going to convict a woman. She could be innocent. I'm not going to convict a woman based on this taillight. What happened to this taillight in those 3 weeks before it was logged into evidence? What happened to this taillight? Why did Berkowitz, who is off duty, why did he call them and tell them to turn off the lights or close the bay door or whatever? What was it? Close the bay door when they towed the car to Canton. Why did they tow the car to Canton? So there's a whole lot of shit here to unpack. And the fact is all of these questions that there's not going to be any solid answers for. You're going to have the jury going, I don't know, man. That's not evidence. That's not beyond a reasonable doubt, because I got doubts. If I'm a juror and I'm sitting here asking questions, that's doubt. Me either, Cherry. Me either. I've never seen so much reasonable doubt. I've never seen so much. It's crazy. It's crazy that they're even going to trial with this. Cherry can even tell you. Anybody who's followed me can even tell you. Like, my first instinct is to give the prosecution credit, because I'm gonna say, well, there's no way that a district attorney is gonna risk their career by trying to prosecute a high profile case without having a shit ton of evidence. There's just no way they're gonna do that. And here I am looking into this case and going, why are they going to trial? This is crazy. And we watched a trial where there was no body. Yes. Joe Ray Daniels was convicted in Tennessee, sentenced by Judge Wolf. Love Judge Wolf. And he, he was convicted. Now, the thing is circumstantial evidence in the state of Tennessee is enough to convict you. It's not like that in every state. But all they had was circumstantial evidence on this guy. But it was just enough. Like, the jury was just like, yeah, this guy's fucking guilty. You know, this guy's fucking guilty. And yeah, that was a tough trial to watch, Rubicon. Yeah. And I really hope that they get answers at some point, because this Joe Ray Daniels guy was complex, man. This guy was complex. He was like, in all, like, as far as first impression of the guy goes, he's just a backwoods, Tennessee boy. You know what I mean? I mean, of just average or below intelligence. But that's not the case. He tested genius level. So he knows. He's like, well, if they don't have a body, then I can. So who knows what happened to his son, Joe Clyde Daniels? Who knows? But they never found him. Right, exactly. Chain of custody for John O'Keefe's clothing, which was 3 weeks before it was even logged in.
And then people started, really going crazy at me, and about 800 people left right then and there.
Wow, that's a lot. It is a lot. And you know what? It's not easy to, hear all the negative stuff and all the, going after you in your life. It's really not easy. So to make that first video where I'm like, I'm questioning things was really hard for me at least.
Was there ever a time with either one of you guys where when you were doing the videos that leaned conspiracy that you started to feel guilty about them?
So yes, for me, I did. And once it like set in, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in the same boat. Like I'm hurting these people, like I don't want to accuse innocent people. So immediately I deleted any ones that I had on the conspiracy. And then everyone was like, where's the videos? I'm like, no, I'm not.
I think we got a super dad, super dad, super dad, super dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
Massachusetts' worst bought and paid for judge is Beverly Cannoni. Is the CW's only hope. She will do everything in her power to railroad Karen Reed and thwart the defense at every turn she is owned. I can't disagree with you there. I mean, I don't feel that strongly about it, Scott McGinnis, and thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. I don't feel as strongly about it as you do, but I got to tell you, I'm not going to refute what you're saying. It's not like she's not giving people reason to believe that that's actually a very possibility, even a possible likelihood that she is absolutely railroading Karen Reed because she's making bad decision after bad decision and stifling the First Amendment rights of the people who support her is a bad look. It's a real bad look. So Judge Beverly Cannoni making the decisions that she's been making, it's not unfair for people like Scott McGinnis to have these opinions and to have these feelings. It's absolutely not unfair.
I'm done with it. I've changed my mind, but only in this case are you not allowed to change your mind. Any other case, fine. Not this one. We all learned that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Matt?
Yeah, I had one that was
no. You could totally change your mind. I'm telling you, I reserve the fucking right to change my mind fucking tomorrow if I want to. Something could come out. Something could come out that could be a total fucking game changer that I'm gonna be like, oh shit. Well, that changes fucking everything. I mean, that's life. That's how it is. That's life. You know what I mean? We don't have, there's a good possibility, there's even a likelihood that we don't have all of the information. As a matter of fact, we know we don't have all the information. It's a fact that we don't have all the information. We just don't know. We don't know what's in that document. We don't know all of the details of what the federal investigation has uncovered. So, I mean, who knows? But who knows, man, that the prosecution might come up with some video footage of her hitting John O'Keefe for all we know. You know what I mean? There's always that possibility. Do I believe that's going to happen? Fuck no. Of course not. But it's naive to not consider the possibility. That's a fact. It is simply naive to not consider the possibility that there is a videotape somewhere of Karen Reed backing her SUV right into John O'Keefe. So, I mean, we'll see, but I don't think that's going to happen. But like I said, it's naive to not consider that to be a possibility. So who knows? So, I mean, yeah, of course you can change your mind. Of course you can. Evidence. I mean, now if you all of a sudden just go, fuck, you know, like if I sit here right now and I just go, oh shit, I didn't notice that before. Shit that's been in front of my face this whole time, then I could see getting criticism for it. You know what I mean? But I mean, right now, I'm just listening to logic and I'm looking at evidence. I'm doing what Plevin says he's doing and just isn't doing. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, Karen Reed's not guilty. In a court of law, there's no way Karen Reed would be found guilty. In a court of law that is run ethically and in the interest of justice, there's no way that court of law will find Karen Reed guilty. There's no fucking way.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we.
Diane G, thank you so much. Don't even ignore the fact that that Stadies in the next county from Kool-Aid Man Morrissey were accepting free bottled water for CDL licenses. What? Don't even ignore the fact that Stadies in the next county from Kool-Aid Man Morrissey were accepting free bottled water for CDL. That's right. Okay, yeah, that was a Josh Levy thing right there. Totally true. Absolutely, Diane G. Thank you so much. I mean, come on, dude. Like, come the fuck on.
I was ready to go when I realized, and I never posted it because I was like, God damn it, this video is so good.
I know.
I get like so many views. I was like, but I can't do it. And
yeah,
I kept the old ones up because I figured those will draw the people in. And like a lot of people are like, why did you change your mind? I'm like, the facts. like I didn't know.
Change your mind. Yeah. People,
Yeah.
it's America. And it's not data. I mean, at this point, there's no question about it to me. And I know some people that bothers them, but we can go through some of that if you guys want. I mean, it's just pretty obvious.
Yeah, for me too. But I have no skin in the game though. So if tomorrow it's Sean is correct, and the black helicopters that are right now circling Canton actually land and arrest everybody, and it's a huge conspiracy, I don't care.
Neither do I.
Life goes on. I just want the truth. I don't. But I end up.
See, here's the thing about Plevin, is he doesn't have any skin in the game. He's right about that, but he's telling a half truth. Okay, because he absolutely has a skin in the game because his issue is with Turtle Boy. Everybody's fucking issue is with Turtle Boy for some fucking reason. I don't think it's this millennial guy's issue, but it's definitely this idiot up there on the right, on the top right. And it's definitely Plevin's. You know how I know it's Plevin's? Because his number one source is Kate Peters. His number one source. He said it. He admitted it. Someone who is spitting out constant falsehoods that is driven by her hatred for Turtle Boy. And this is Plevin's source for information. So not only is he getting mistruths, he's spitting out diluted mistruths, filtered through his fucking weird brain. Her bullshit filtered through his brain coming out of his face is what you're listening to when you listen to Plevin. Think about that for a second. Just visualize that. You got fucking crusty panties, dumb fucking brain, brewing up some shit, comes out of her face, goes into Plevin's fucking screwy fucking brain, and then comes out of his face. You see what I'm saying? You see the stew of bullshit? There's no way that is credible.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super.
Thank you, Jen Dalgos. Appreciate you. And Calamity Jade, thank you for putting up with me for 2 years. Wow, a member for 2 years. Thank you so much. I love Glare, Cherry, and community. We love you too, Calamity Jade. Thank you so much. You have been incredibly supportive all this time. It's crazy. I'm really grateful to you. Thank you so much. I mean, dude, there's nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like, dude, all Plevin is to me, you got to understand, all Plevin is to me is content at this point. Like, this is it. This is just reviewing Plevin here is just content because there's no real updates in the John O'Keefe Karen Reed case. And until there are, you know, it's Plevin time. It's just Plevin. He's gonna just spew out fucking bullshit, and then I'm just gonna troll it, you know. And it's because, like I said before, there's nothing about this that you could take seriously. Like it's the easiest shit to cut down, and now there's 3 of them. What?
I've taken a strong position is just because the evidence is so compelling. But if it turns out that all of that was somehow elaborately manufactured, I don't care.
No, I don't either. And I feel like, everyone's like, well, what are you going to do if you were wrong? Nothing. I'll be wrong. That's it. I'll just be wrong and I'll move on. So I don't know what they would want me to do, but
I can tell you, so going over the evidence a little bit, just without getting, there's so much evidence in this, we can go crazy, but just some of the main evidence. For me, I remember in April, if you guys, I don't think you were following it then yet, Karen, but you probably were, Matt. And in April, when Turtle Boy's first story broke, that was on April 18th, and I had a couple of messages from friends in law enforcement saying, wow, you got to check this out. And the 227 search for how long to die in the cold, and at that point, it was presented as though it was just data. And I didn't know much about data back then. I thought data's data. It's not disputable. And I was like, if that happened, there definitely had to be a conspiracy. Did you guys go through that with that at all too?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a strong one for sure.
That was probably the main thing for me. Because I'm like, there'd be no reason, whatsoever. But at the same time, always in the back of my mind was a house full of law enforcement individuals. This is what they come up with. Oh, we'll let the cold. Hopefully it's cold enough that he dies out there, but let's give him enough time. It just doesn't really add up. It's like one of the worst possible things you could do if you're hoping that somebody dies. I mean,
right. What if somebody drives by and rescues him and then he tells the story? So why
or
don't
if Karen comes back an hour later? What if Karen came back an hour later, looking for him? It's just
lucky friend.
Oh, lucky, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I think that he was like, how there's cases where people come out and say and lie. So like, I think that might be.
Dude. Okay. Why? I can't with these people, dude. You're sitting here and you're saying that it's not possible because they wouldn't have just left him out there. Of course they would. If they all sit there and say, we're going to say that Karen Reed hit him with the car. That's what we're going to say. Of course. Like nobody rescued him. Nobody fucking rescued this guy. Like there was no way that this guy was going to live, and they knew it. And they absolutely knew it. They knew that this guy's wounds were fatal. They knew these people, they've seen people die before. So I get it, I mean, but they're going to trace him back to the house. So if they were to cut up, let's say that they cut up his body and then buried it somewhere, and you know what I mean? Did all the kind of shit you would see in some fucking movie. Well, you know what I mean? Like, people are going to ask questions. People are going to go, well, the last place that we saw him was pull up here and into the house. That's the last place we saw him. I mean, his phone data is going to indicate this. All kinds of shit are going to indicate that he went back to that house. And so they're going to investigate. That could be traced back to the house. All these people would be implicated. This way, they have a chance that they can pin it onto Karen Reed. Maybe that's what those phone calls were about. Maybe Higgins and Brian Albert were talking, and they were like, well, what are we supposed to do with him? I mean, we threw him out there. Should we move him? Should we do this? No. That dude, trust me, he's not going to survive that. He's totally unresponsive. He's not going to survive that. Well, I don't know. I mean, well, fucking hold on. Let me Google how long to die in the cold. Jen McCabe is overhearing the conversation. Let me Google how long to die in the cold. And they're like, yeah, I mean, either way, he's going to get hypothermia. Like, that's it. So, as gruesome as it sounds, yeah, if you have all these people who are going to be sticking to the same story, then for sure, of course, they can absolutely pin that shit on Karen.
Might be the case, because why was he never in the discovery prior to Turtle Boy's interview? And then when the cops interviewed him, they were more concerned about his contact with Turtle Boy than anything else. So It kind of seems like maybe he said it in the beginning and they vetted it.
Right. Now that brings me to another point. Jen McCabe said, as Cherry is stating here, told the 911 operator that he was already dead. We heard it on the recording. We absolutely heard it. I mean, sorry, I'd have to look for it. I was going to play it, but there's a lot of files here and I can't find it. So, but that's the thing is they would have I mean, she told the 911 operator that he was dead. So what that indicates to me is that they thought that he was dead. They'll say, oh, well, you know, he got hit by a car and he froze to death. How long to die in the cold? She figured he was dead already. She thought he was dead already. I mean, that would tell me that the people in the house thought he was dead, which would make everyone arguably fucking murderers. If Higgins and Albert are talking about it and Jennifer McCabe Googles it, they're all fucking murderers.
Vetted him and they were like, he wasn't even there that night or didn't even plow or whatever. I don't know. It's so weird.
Well, on top of that, I'm pretty sure that they canceled his grand jury testimony, right?
Was that the grand jury for the original Karen Reed's indictment or the grand jury for the
federal grand jury?
Yeah.
Yep, his
You would
testimony.
think he'd be a pretty important piece of it, right?
Yep.
But it sounds like he's not.
And I think in his defense, I think
Is
it's a
that
privileged
true?
case that he's
I'm
not
gonna
lying.
have to play it.
I think that
I'm gonna have to play it to explore that, because I missed that. She told the 911 dispatcher he was out there maybe an hour. Okay, hold on a second. Buzzing for truth. Thank you so much, Sandra Birchmore. Same Massachusetts State Police players. Absolutely. 100% true. Very true. Hold on a second.
Yes, I need someone to please 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
Okay, so this transcript isn't very good, whoever did this. But it's hard to tell in their defense. But it says, but she doesn't say trapped out in the snow. She said passed out in the snow. So she says he's passed out at first. And then, so this isn't very accurate. So,
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. I think he's dead.
I think he's dead. Now, she does say that. So there's a man passed out in the snow. I think he's dead.
Okay. I know. Where are the blankets? I don't see blankets, Terry. Yes, I need some.
And nobody, I mean, it's not suspicious that she's in front of her sister's house and she can't just walk into the house and grab blankets or wake them up. One of them being medically trained to some degree. There's no way that Brian Albert is not medically trained to some degree. I guaranteed. Guaranteed, at least no CPR. The very least, no CPR. Right? Why not go in there, try to save his life? Why not say, help, help, help? John is fucking lying in your lawn. Help. Why isn't that happening? Why doesn't that happen at any point? Even after she hangs up the phone with 911. Why doesn't that happen? She makes another phone call, though. Wake your ass up. Yeah, I want to see the part where she says, okay, so she even says that he's 46 years old. You know, he's a man. He's not a cop. He's just a man passed out in the snow, and I think he's dead. So, but where is the part? Like somebody, I think it was Writes On said that that it's 100 or that sorry, I was reading something else. It was an hour that he was out there, an hour.
I don't know. He got out of the car and it could be an hour.
He got out of the car and it could be an hour. I never caught that before. I think I was the first person to publicly play this call, and I never caught that before. He got out of the car maybe an hour. How does she know that? How does she know that? Holy.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
Thank you, MJ Gaglio. You're saying she's way too calm, the epitome of evil. Now, here's the thing. Let's break that down for a second, because I think that it's very important that one stay calm when speaking to 911. I think it's very important that one keep their composure so that they could give the 911 dispatcher all of the information that they need. The 911 operator, all of the correct information so it could be properly passed on to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher could properly pass it on to the responders. I think that that's important. But the thing is, though, why is she so calm is the issue. Why is she so calm? And how does she know the things that she fucking knows? You know what I mean? How does she know what she knows? She fails to identify him as a police officer. She fails to acknowledge him as her friend because he is her friend. She knows how old he is, his exact age, and she somehow knows that he's been out there maybe an hour, that he got out of a car and he's been out there maybe an hour. Okay.
Carrie? I don't.
Oh yeah. Sorry. In that summary, I forgot to also bring up again that she never went inside her sister's house that she came from earlier that night. So she never felt comfortable since I was here earlier. Let me just come back. She didn't bang on the door. She didn't tell Carrie, hey, run in there and grab my sister, or get on the phone with 911, tell them what's going on. Karen, try to keep him warm. I'm going in there to get blankets. I'm going in there to wake up Brian and see what he can do. None of this happened. Not even after she hangs up the phone. None of this fucking happened. She is still sitting in the car. Yes.
I know, I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know, honey, I know.
Now, the thing is we don't know what Karen is doing. According to her, she was trying to keep him warm. Could be that she was too hysterical to do anything, and there was something that Carrie was seeing her do that was like, hey, knock that shit off. You're not helping him. Or if she was doing everything on the up and up and doing everything within her power to try to save John's life, then Carrie telling her to stop would be suspicious. Carrie saying, hey, knock that shit off. That's weird. That it's absolutely weird if she did that. But I can't. Yeah. So I'm willing to entertain the idea that Karen was too hysterical to be doing anything that was productive to help John. We don't have any video. We only have audio here. And we have Karen's word that she was doing everything she could to save him. But we don't know exactly. So I'm willing to entertain the possibility that what Carrie was doing was not suspicious.
If I Karen, stop. You gotta stop.
See, the fact that we're discussing this and Plevin and these other people don't even acknowledge these things. They don't even touch on these things. They don't say that any of this is suspicious. They pretend like these things don't exist. Like this 911 call isn't absolutely shady as fuck. And the things being said in it are how would Jen McCabe know that he got out of a car and he's been out there for maybe an hour? How would Jen McCabe know that? Why aren't these people who are so convinced that Karen Reed is guilty asking this question? Why is everybody going, hey, I didn't see nothing? I don't know nothing. Phone calls were placed in the middle of the night when everybody's excuse was that they were asleep. And then it turns out that phone calls were placed between these people. Between Higgins, between Proctor, between the Alberts, between Jennifer McCabe. I mean, all these people were all on their phones talking to each other. But there's no evidence of a conspiracy, right? Because they all lied and said that they were asleep. So she's on the phone with what sounds to be like her sister, Nicole Albert, because we know that a phone call was placed. So we know that a phone call was placed. We know that we hear her say, "Are you coming out to help?" But that, you know, that might be the argument. Like, well, she called her sister. What's your problem? No, that's not what you do when there's a man who's dying on their lawn. You go and bang on the door, or you walk into the house. You do whatever you have to do. And you get them out there to help. Period. It's their house. One of them is a trained is a police officer who's got to be trained in CPR. You're going to tell me that a guy's job to protect and serve, he's not going to have some sort of first responder training? He's not going to be able to get somebody out there quicker? We're talking about Brian Albert here. We're talking about the select board guy's brother, Chris Albert's brother. He can't get somebody out there. He can't get an ambulance out there like that. You're going to tell me this guy can't pull one or two strings and try to get this guy's life saved? Instead, you're going to pretend to be asleep, or you're going to be fucking your wife. Even if you're telling the truth about that, you're too busy fucking your wife than to save a man's life who's on your lawn. Just don't buy it, man. None of this shit adds up.
Like, I made a couple videos on it. And I was going down the rabbit hole reading all the blogs, and then I started to find the court documents. Read through those. I mean, I never really believed the dog bite thing, because I was like, that's not dog bites. So like certain things were like I could tell that I was a little bit biased, because I was like hoping that they didn't test for like the dog DNA. I was like, I don't think they should do that, because I just wanted, I don't know, like I didn't want to change my mind. Like the conspiracy.
Look at this guy admitting to confirmation bias. He's admitting that this is his pattern of thinking. He's sitting there admitting it. Think about that. He's like, oh man, I that's not a dog. And then they're like, he's worried that they'll actually test for DNA because he doesn't want to find out that it is a dog. I mean, he just said that shit out loud, folks. Never tell us any of the evidence again. I don't want to hear it. No. What? Fascinating. I love it.
Thing, it sells. Like, that's what's big. That's what people want to hear. That's good for your views and likes and all that. And so I think the big one was, I was reading one of his blogs when Turtle Boy was talking to Paul O'Keefe, and just like,
don't do it, Cherry. Oh my God.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
Thank you, Scott McGinnis. I appreciate you, buddy. So Garrett Reed decided to purposely run down John O'Keefe in front of a house party at a cop's house and across the street from another cop's house. Okay, right. And there's no actual solid evidence of this taking place. That's what's fascinating. At a cop's house, in front of another cop's house, like in front of a cop's house, across the street from another cop's house, and kills a cop. Kills a cop in front of a cop's house, across the street from another cop's house. And there's no solid evidence of this. There's no ring cam footage. There's no solid evidence of this. As a matter of fact, even the eyewitnesses inside the house. Jennifer McCabe says, well, I saw her pull up to the house. I instructed her to pull up behind my car. I saw her pull back. I saw her pull up to the side, to the parallel to the front of the house. And then I saw her drive away and leave the property. What's her answer going to be when Jackson or Yannetti say, you saw all this, but you didn't see Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with her SUV? You saw all this, but you didn't see Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with her SUV. No further questions, Your Honor. How could she witness every single thing that this SUV did the entire time it was in front of her house, in front of her sister's house, while she was chatting with John O'Keefe, saying what to do when they get there? Didn't hear anything. No fighting, right? I thought this was in the heat of an argument that she backed into John O'Keefe, that she mowed him down because she hates him so much. No yelling. You didn't see people yelling at each other when her inside light was on, according to Ryan Nagel's statement. Her cab light was on inside the SUV. So you didn't see any back and forth? You didn't see any of this? That's interesting. Jennifer McCabe is completely full of shit.
Like, reading through that one, I was just like, I didn't realize that family like totally was like completely confident like that it was her. And I was like, and they saw her that morning and stuff, and I was like, And then I like reread the affidavit, and like the whole dialogue of Jen McCabe orchestrated the whole thing. Once you read the affidavit, it's like, all right, there's no way that she got to all these people.
Right.
And then her health data, like the health data that came out saying that he was inside the house, but he went up and downstairs before he even got to the house. And it says that in their expert's report, but her defense team still like laid it out as if it happened, the only explanation is that he was inside the house, but it happened before he got to the house. So he was probably driving up a hill or something. And it's like, holy crap. And that was kind of the point where I was like, And then I would think it was like the court date happened right after that because I started to realize, but I was like, I don't want to get into it with Turtle Boy. So I didn't want to say anything, but then I saw them all like booing the family outside the courthouse, and then I just like, this is whatever. And I started making videos about the truth. And that was it.
No.
It's really
You started making videos about a narrative. So you didn't actually see people booing the family. You saw people talking about people booing the family. And you saw people saying that Turtle Boy directed this. And here you are now admitting, A, that you didn't want to find out that the evidence that you thought wasn't evidence turned out to be evidence. You were so sure that this was not a dog that you got scared that they were going to test for dog DNA and it was going to prove you wrong. You just admitted this. And now you're saying that the reason why you started making videos was because you think Turtle Boy directed people to boo John O'Keefe's family at these hearings. Okay. So again, this is about Turtle Boy. This isn't about the truth. This is about Turtle Boy.
Really interesting, the point you bring up there, the fact that this should be a lot of things in this case that give people at least cause to question the conspiracy theory. And certainly one of them is the fact that the victim, John, his family, none of them believe in the conspiracy. That should be something that should have given people pause, right? So, Karen, what was your process, Karen, on this? And you're out of state.
Yes, I'm out of state. My best friend lives in Massachusetts, and actually one of her relatives lives in Canton. And so he actually knows some of these people. And she's like, this is right up your alley. You know, she sent me Turtle Boy's blog, that first one that took off. And again, I never heard about him before. And I was like, wow, this is, again, it's really interesting. It's really juicy. Like, I can't wait to get this on my TikTok. And I probably did the TikTok within a day or so. And that one really took off, because I was like, all this juicy stuff is happening. That one had hundreds of thousands of views. And then, each time I would hear like a new blog, I would make a new TikTok. And then I think part of it was watching that and talking to my dad. My dad was a lieutenant, and he's like, Karen, no, it's not possible. So that, and then also the fact that, even with what he was saying with the Apple data, like obviously he wasn't in the house at that time. And then I'm like, does my car really monitor me? Like, does it register me taking steps when I'm driving? And I didn't think it does, but it does if you're going up or down a hill. So really, he was a big part of it. And then again, with the family, because I realized not one person that actually loves John and knows John and even his friends believe any of this. They know exactly what happened, and then
How do they know exactly what happened?
We were laughing.
How do they know exactly what happened? Explain to me that. If they weren't there, how John's friends and family know exactly what happened if they weren't there. And this is no disrespect to them. I'm just saying they can't know what happened. And if you've constantly got the people who are trying to cover their own asses, like you're just gonna be extra nice and grateful to the people who are investigating the case. To you, in your face, it looks like they're conducting a sound investigation because they're asking questions. They've made an arrest. These people aren't going to sit there and watch YouTube videos and read blogs and go, oh my God, what's this? They're going to trust the people that are in their ears, that are next to them, that are going to the hearings with them and sitting next to them. They're going to trust the things that they're saying. They're going to trust that they're doing their job. They're going to trust that police officers are getting a fellow police officer justice and that they care about them. That's what these family members of John O'Keefe are going to do. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like the way that they're handling everything is suspect. It would be so easy. Why wouldn't they just like hold a press conference? You know what I mean? And go, look, this is where we're at. You wouldn't have, I mean, you've got this entire local community in Canton, Massachusetts. You've got people going at each other, man. You've got people showing up to the select board meetings, speaking and protesting. You've got all these protesters. Why wouldn't these people just hold a press conference and go, listen, this is what happened. I understand that the people are looking at us like this is, but I can assure you that all we want is justice for John. And I can explain, you know, that everything that happened in my statement is absolutely true. No willingness to assure people that they are seeking justice for John O'Keefe. There's no public willingness. All of it seems counter to seeking justice for John O'Keefe. They're on the defense constantly. In the public eye, everybody that Turtle Boy has named in his investigative efforts, everyone who he's named has been completely and totally shut off, except for doing weird behind the scenes shit. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to think? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Show me that Turtle Boy is completely and totally full of shit. Show me that everything that he's done is just yarns that he's spinning in order to fucking sell his blog and sell free Karen Reed t-shirts. Tell me, show me something. But the problem is that you can't. And your hatred for him is very telling as well. The fact that you just show hatred, but you never show any actual evidence that what he's talking about is not tangible in any way, shape, or form. It's not worth following up on. It's not worth taking seriously and asking questions based on. Show me that. But the problem is you're showing me contempt for him. And the contempt that you have for him is very telling because it tells me that you can't refute what he says and it makes you mad. And so you throw a tantrum. You throw an I hate Turtle Boy tantrum. Dude. I mean, it's crazy how many people, like I read a tweet. I was dying laughing. I was literally cracking up when I read this tweet where Turtle Boy actually makes it a point, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here we go. So look at this. So it says right here, so Turtle Boy puts, he writes, when they say the silent part out loud, these people are willing to side with obvious cop killers, corrupt cops, and entrenched politicians, just so they don't have to side with me. The only reason the Karen Reed case is controversial at all, and the only reason anyone pretends she's guilty is because some people don't like me. If I wasn't involved, it would be universally agreed she is innocent, but less people would be aware of the injustice. And I totally agree with them because all of the evidence simply dictates people. It simply dictates that not necessarily that Karen Reed is innocent, but that she's not guilty. You understand what I mean there? The evidence clearly dictates that Karen Reed is not guilty. So what he points out in this is this Andy Dufresne lady. What's her fucking other name? I forgot who she's, but she's another idiot. I have fun with her on Twitter from time to time. She makes me laugh. But I died laughing when I read this. Hold on. I'll get to it in a second. Oh my god.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Captain Skin Marks, thank you so much. These three want to be perceived as the morally superior ones to no matter the facts. Looking objectively at the evidence would mean that they would have to be in agreement with Turtle Boy, and that's problematic for these three people. I agree 100%. Thank you, Captain Skid Marks. Absolutely 100%. That is a factual fucking statement right there. That's all it is. But everybody who seems to have this strong contempt for Turtle Boy, like that's what everybody who thinks that Karen Reed is guilty, they all have this in common, that they have a strong contempt for Turtle Boy. And so far, the evidence dictates that their contempt for Turtle Boy is what struck their interest into this case. This is absolutely like indisputable. The majority of everyone that I've seen only took an interest in this case who think that Karen Reed is guilty, only took an interest in this case once they saw Turtle Boy and his actions and had a problem with it. So thank you, Captain Skid Marks. I appreciate that. I totally agree with you. So here, this is the funniest shit. So this Andy Dufresne lady, right? says the bottom line is that if Aiden Carney supports it, you shouldn't. He is an abomination, Satan on earth, and needs to be locked the fuck up. He is the walking, breathing definition of syphilis. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. This lady, dude. This shit is fucking hilarious to me. Holy shit, man. That is fucking funny. Should I play that again? Should I read that one more time? Do you guys think I should read that one more time? No. Wait. Kim, yeah, her name's Kim Fair. She hates Turtle Boy. Like, it's so funny. The bottom line is that if Aiden Carney supports it, you shouldn't. He is an abomination, Satan on earth, and needs to be locked the fuck up. He is the walking, breathing definition of syphilis.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Dude. And then I had to comment, man, like where I was like, where did I say here? That lady fucking hates you, dude. I don't think I've ever read a more hateful comment in my life. She's got suction cup rings on her bathtub for sure. Totally. That lady completely and totally has suction cup rings on her bathtub. I guarantee it. She's got it bad for Turtle Boy. Oh my god, these people fucking hate him, bro. It's so funny. But the thing is like when it comes to the conversation of guilt or innocence in regards to Karen Reed, their credibility is fucked if they think that Karen Reed is guilty just based on their deep-rooted hatred for Aiden Carney. I mean, there's nothing you cannot dispute this. It's just very, very funny to me.
Laughing on the phone about how kind of crazy this whole conspiracy is, you know? He's like, how could Jen convince Karen that she hit him? You know, it's like, I don't care how drunk somebody is. You're not going to be able to be like, oh, by the way, you hit him, and now start telling everybody that. So it's just crazy. But listen, we were all in the same spot at one point. So I'm glad we made it back to reality.
Yeah, actually, Matt brings up another really interesting point there when he says how all of us as YouTube, I mean, well, content creators,
And
me
how the fuck am I supposed to take her seriously anyway? Like, what I heard you, dude, your whole shtick is I fucking drink fucking white wine and get wasted and fucking talk out of my ass on true crime cases. Like, that's not even what happened. You got drunk, wasted, drunk on fucking wine and started hating Turtle Boy. God. Ah, fuck this guy. God, he's such a piece of shit. Ah. I can't believe he is absolutely repulsive. God, and he's so fucking snarky too. I hate the snark. Ah. Like, that's your existence, lady, like in a nutshell. That's it. You just get hammered, fucking wine drunk, and shit all over Turtle Boy. It's like, how am I supposed to take you seriously?
Me on YouTube and you guys on TikTok, recognized early on that this would be a conspiracy cell, and this would be something that would be juicy that would help get us followers and stuff like that. But then you get to that difficult point where you're like, all right,
I think we got a super
maybe this doesn't really add up.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Scott McGinnis, thank you. It is not only their hatred of Turtle Boy, it is their love for their government and their institutions, lots of which they are being shown to be corrupt. Right. And that's another thing. I mean, it would be naive to not factor that into. I agree, Scott McGinnis, and thank you. I think it would be naive not to factor in the fact that people have strong beliefs and strong support for their governmental institutions, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's a good thing. But if it's to the point to where it blinds you, then you are forgetting what it means to be an American. Yes, I just said that shit out loud to you. If you are trusting your government to the point to where it blinds you and you are ignoring blatant evidence that you should be asking whether or not there is corruption, then that is absolutely un-American. This country was absolutely 150% based on the idea that government should not have too much power, that the people should have all the power, and we rely on governmental institutions in order to govern us in an organized fashion, because we, the people, are not capable of governing ourselves without this institution just yet. We have not evolved to this point yet. But make no mistake, the government, at the end of the day, has to do what the majority of the people want, and it has to be in the interests of the people. If the government is showing interest for themselves, which they are clearly doing in this case is an absolute example of government showing interest for themselves, taking precedence over justice. And the justice belongs to the people. The justice belongs to John O'Keefe's family. The justice belongs to Karen Reed, but it also belongs to the people. Since she is innocent until proven guilty, she has a right to a fair investigation and a fair trial. In the eyes of the law, she is innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, she has the right to a fair investigation and a fair trial. She has not received either or yet. Now, she has not gone on trial yet, but she has not been treated fairly in these preliminary hearings. That's a fact. Judge Bev has absolutely shown favoritism to the prosecution in this case. This is a fact. So we have a problem here. And if you're not asking the right questions, I accuse you of being an American.
And it's against your interest
Exactly.
that. So,
And that's a big thing I wanted to point out, because I can't tell you how many times they say it about you, Kev, about me, that, you know, we're grifting, we're trying to take the opposite point of view to get more views. And I'm like, listen, I deleted all the ones that had the most views. And these videos, right, Matt? They have so much less views than any other case that I do, because in the turtle land, this is the biggest thing ever. But in the real world, there are many more cases that are much bigger that people are more interested in. And it's like, we're taking.
Right. Now, she's not wrong about that. That's the thing, is when you're looking at other people, you have to keep this in mind. And I feel like I need to remind you that this case is not, there's a lot of true crime creators who have touched on this case and talked about it and have done a deep enough dive, deep enough to where I'm satisfied that the dive that they've done, considering the fact that this is not the only case that they talk about. Those of us like me, I am totally in. I am absolutely involved here. I am absolutely into this. So, and that's why the majority of my content is about this case, because I feel very strongly about it. But I feel very strongly about it for multiple reasons.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we.
Jim Gary Gunn, thank you so much, dude. You win handle of the day. Is that your real name? I don't care if it's your real name. You win handle of the day, my friend. That's just a cool name, dude. You're a fucking action hero, bro. Jim Gary Gunn, starring in. Appreciate you, Jim Gary Gunn. Thank you. So now the whole thing about this, like, hold on.
Taking the hit, and then we're getting accused of doing the opposite. So I don't know.
Yeah, the whole thing is there's a lot of there's creators who talk about multiple cases. They're not going to look into this case as deeply as the rest of us. They're not going to be aware. So when you see some other YouTube creators, like at this point, I'm satisfied with them merely acknowledging the points that the defense has brought up in the last few hearings. So them being aware of that and then having questions going, shit, okay, this is a little different. Like, what the fuck is with this butt dialing bullshit? Because I don't buy that. Why is the DA's office under investigation? And then it snowballs into questions, right? It happened to Melanie Little. Like, she started hearing certain things and then she was like, hold on. All right, wait a second. I got to look into this. So you have a lot of, like, if this happens now, the reason why for me I am so involved in this case is because, again, Turtle Boy being arrested was something that really, like, latched on to me, because I was like, wait a minute, they're trying to shut this guy up. That's a red flag like a motherfucker right there. If I'm sitting here and I'm wondering whether or not that Karen Reed is being railroaded, and then I see Turtle Boy getting arrested, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Then I had to do a deep dive into Turtle Boy. Then I had to do a deep dive into the charges that they charged him with. And once I saw that he was absolutely being railroaded himself, that's when I was just like, yeah, this is, these people are fucking dirty. This is dirty as shit. This is a weaponization of the law in order to railroad another. I'm going to railroad this guy in order to be able to railroad this other person in trial in a completely separate case. That's crazy. Never seen that shit in my life. Never seen that shit in my life. Absolutely, Microdots. Dirty as fuck. Like, we're talking like movie villain shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But isn't that
Matt,
true? We haven't you all lost either views, follows. So
Yeah.
for them to say it, it's like laughable.
I lost like 800 during one show. It was like literally back in September when Turtle Boy was in there, kind of he kept accusing me of both sidesism.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What a crazy thing to accuse somebody of. Like, that's a crime, both sidesism, you know? And
Yeah.
so, and I accused him. I said, well, you're working directly with the defense. And he said, liar.
Oh.
and
Liar.
and they and then people started, you know, really going crazy at me, and about 800 people left right then and there.
Wow, that's a lot. It is a lot. And you know what? It's not easy to, you know, hear all the negative stuff and all the, you know, going after you in real life. It's really not easy. So it's to make that first video where I'm like, you know what, I'm questioning things was really hard. For me, at least.
Was there ever a time with either one of you guys where, when you were doing the videos that leaned conspiracy, that you started to feel guilty about them?
So yes, for me, I did. And once it like set in, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm hurting these people, you know, like I don't want to accuse innocent people. So immediately I deleted any ones that I had on the conspiracy. And then everyone was like, where are your videos? You know, and I'm like, no, I'm done with it. You know, I've changed my mind, but only in this case are you not allowed to change your mind. Any other case, fine. Not this one. We all learned that, I think.
Matt?
Yeah, I had one that was ready to go.
I mean, no. Did it ever occur to you that you changed your mind? You didn't get shit for changing your mind. Again, you're telling half the fucking story here. I guarantee you didn't get shit for changing your mind. But when you flip-flop and you change your mind from listening and looking at things that bring up inevitable questions to ignoring all of that, you flip-flop. It's like you're taking toothpaste that is already out of the tube, and then you're taking this half-ass used fucking tube of toothpaste and trying to sell it as brand new and acting like the toothpaste isn't fucking already out of the goddamn tube. It is. Like, the stuff that you asked questions about that you were like, holy shit, this is weird, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden you saw that this guy, Turtle Boy, had all the support, and you figured by trash talking him, it was going to gain you subscribers and views. That's what happened. You thought a rivalry with Turtle Boy was going to blow up your image, which is a really pathetic thing to do. And it never works. It never works. It's just for the record.
So when I realized, and I never posted it because I was like, God damn it, this video is so good.
I know.
I get like so many views. I was like, well, I can't do it. And
yeah,
I kept the old ones up because I figured those will draw the people in. And like a lot of people like, why'd you change your mind? I'm like, the facts. Like,
yeah.
like
and
I didn't
know.
know.
Change your mind. Yeah. People,
Yeah.
it's America. And the fact, the data. I mean, at this point, there's no question about it to me. And I know some people that bothers them, but you know, we could go through some of that if you guys want. I mean, it's just pretty obvious.
Yeah, for me too. But I have no skin in the game though. So if tomorrow it's, you know, Sean is correct, and the black hot helicopters that are right now circling Canton actually land and arrest everybody, and it's a huge conspiracy, I don't care.
Neither do I.
Life goes on. I just want the truth. I don't really, but you know, I end up taking a strong position. It's just because the evidence is so compelling. But if it turns out,
but it's not though. This is what he keeps saying. He keeps justifying his position by saying that the evidence is so compelling. The evidence is not compelling at all. That's the whole point. The prosecution just says it's compelling. But when you break it down, there's nothing compelling about it at all. If you picture yourself as a juror and you hear all of the facts in regards to the evidence that is made available to the public, it's not compelling at all. There's not one compelling fucking thing about the case against Karen Read. Nothing at all.
Turns out that all of that was somehow elaborately manufactured. I don't care.
No, I don't either. And I feel like, everyone's like, well, what are you going to do if you were wrong? Nothing. I'll be wrong. That's it. I'll just be wrong and I'll move on. So I don't know what they would want me to do, but
I mean, so okay. Like, see, I don't give a shit about being right or wrong in this situation. The only thing that I feel very, very passionate about is the people in Massachusetts that are standing up against the corruption. To me, that shit is amazing. Like, it's incredibly inspiring. That's where my heart is. Is my heart with Karen Reed? Sure. I think that her rights are being violated, and I hope that she gets justice. Ultimately, I hope that John O'Keefe gets justice. But the thing is this doesn't end with Karen Reed being exonerated, which is inevitably going to happen. This doesn't end with that. So, wait, what? Natasha say Elvis, cocaine, and Will doesn't get any better. Well, I hope you're enjoying your cocaine. What?
Yes! I like it.
Yeah. Rock on. Enjoy that.
I can tell you, so going over the evidence a little bit, just without getting, there's so much evidence in this, we can go crazy, but just some of the main evidence. For me, I remember in April, if you guys, well, I don't think you were following it then yet, Karen, but you probably were, Matt. And in April, when Turtle Boy's first story broke, that was on April 18th. And I had a couple of messages from friends in law enforcement saying, wow, you got to check this out. And the 227 search for how long to die in the cold. And at that point, it was presented.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They're like, well, I don't care. Well, of course. Like, how do you not care? How do you not give a shit that if it turns out that Karen Reed is innocent and there is a conspiracy, how do you not care? Like, that's where you live, Plevin. Like, how do you not give a shit that that's happening where you live? That's insane to me. Like, that just, to me, makes you just a fucking pussy. Like, this is happening where you live and you don't have the balls to use your voice to speak up on it? Fuck out of here.
Presented as though it was just data. And I didn't know much about data back then. I thought data's data, it's not disputable. And I was like, if that happened, there definitely had to be a conspiracy. Did you guys go through that with that at all too?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a strong one for sure.
That was probably the main thing for me because I'm like, there'd be no reason, whatsoever. But at the same time, always in the back of my mind was a house full of law enforcement individuals. This is what they come up with. They're like, oh, we'll let the cold. Hopefully it's cold enough that he dies out there, but let's give him enough time. It just doesn't really add up. It's like one of the worst possible things you could do if you're hoping that somebody dies. I mean,
right. What if somebody drives by and rescues him and then he tells the story? So why don't you
Karen
finish
comes
him
back an hour later? What if Karen came back an hour later, looking for him? It's just so
lucky law friend.
Oh, lucky, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I think
it
was like
that stuff makes sense, but the problem with that is we heard the 911 call. That's why I played it again. We heard the 911 call, and Jennifer McCabe absolutely said that he was dead on the phone. Everything points to them believing that John O'Keefe was dead or dead enough.
You know how there's cases where people come out and say and lie? So, like, I think that might be the case because why was he never in the discovery prior to Turtle Boy's interview? And then when the cops interviewed him, they were more concerned about his contact with Turtle Boy than anything else. So
Right.
it kind of seems like maybe he said it in the beginning and they vetted him and they were like, he wasn't even there that a night or didn't even plow or whatever. I don't know. It's so weird.
Well, on top of that, I'm pretty sure that they canceled his grand jury testimony, right?
Was that the grand jury for the original Karen Reed's indictment or the grand jury for the
federal grand jury.
Yeah.
Yep, his
So you would think
testimonials.
you would think he'd be a pretty important piece of it, right?
Yep.
But it sounds like
Yep.
he's not.
So
And I think in his defense, I think there's a pretty good chance that he's not lying. I think that he's told his story 3 times officially, and we've seen the transcripts for all 3, and it's remarkably consistent. So whatever story he settled on in his mind back a couple of years ago, he's still sticking with. I just think that it's one of those things that every case that I've ever looked at, there are witnesses that come out of the woodwork that say things that just don't end up matching the physical evidence or what other witnesses have seen. And you can never sometimes explain it. Human memory is very malleable and it can be manipulated unintentionally. And so I don't even try to explain it. I mean, it
No,
just
and
doesn't seem.
that was one of those situations to me where like,
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
and I've probably given this example before, but like if somebody asked me what time I ate breakfast yesterday, like I could give you around, I don't know, I can't be like, 7:23, you know? So even all the people, like it was at this time and this time exactly, on a night where everybody's drinking, I'm sure that things get a little mumbled up throughout the night, you know, and that the timing isn't exactly what they say, you know, they're basically, they're estimating, you know, I think it was around this time, but truthfully, would you guys know that, you know, if somebody asked you today what time you ate dinner yesterday, would you know to the moment when you were drunk? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I love how that logic applies, but you know, it doesn't apply to Karen Reed not having, you know, 150% consistency in her memory those early morning hours of that night. No, not at all. You know, like that logic applies over here, but not over here. It's fucking great.
Oh, sorry.
And then once no, that's okay. And once it's hard with 3 sometimes. I'll stay quiet usually. But no, just one, you know, sometimes at the time when you're plowing, you're not expecting anything unusual to happen. And then days later, you know, the next day you would have found that someone died, but over the days you start piecing it together and you're taking bits of memory and trying to stitch it. Well, did I see something? And it's hard to know if your memory is really accurate in that case there, because you didn't have any reason to pay attention during that night. So
Right, which is kind of what I believe also about people not seeing him. You know, if they're not looking in that area of the yard, then it's very easy to just drive away. Like, why would you be staring at specific spots in the yard on, you know, dark when it's snowing? So yeah, people could have.
Dude, if Jen McCabe was watching every movement of Karen Reed's SUV, she would have at least seen her hit John O'Keefe. Or if she didn't see it, she would have at least seen his body laying in the lawn. If the lawn had snow on it and his dark 6-foot body was laying in the lawn, then she would have seen it. I don't give a shit what anybody says. She would have absolutely seen it, but she didn't see anything. She saw all of the movements of Karen Reed's SUV. Saw her pull up, said, pull up behind my vehicle. She pulled up behind her vehicle, then pulled back, makes a 3-point turn or whatever, and then parks the SUV parallel in front of the lawn where she allegedly hit John O'Keefe and he went flying back to the lawn 12 feet at 24 miles per hour, but she didn't hear or see any of this. And then, but sees Karen Reed drive away from the property. Because that's fucking believable, right? I mean, and Ryan Nagel's statement is absolutely important too. I mean, and he remembers all these details.
people could have missed it if they didn't know that they should be looking for something.
Right.
It's different if you know, like, oh, there's a body there, you're gonna look there, but you're just leaving.
So the evidence back at the beginning that was most compelling to me was, yes, there was that, and there was the other data that supposedly showed John walking up and down the stairs, the health app data. Do you guys have any want to talk about the health app versus the GPS?
Well,
versus
microdots
data and that stuff? Does that interest you at all? Or
and I hate calling it sites, but they're the ones who created sites. I hate calling it sites. Like, the whole thing here is you're saying no one on that side knows how to think, but the thing is everyone who's on that side, they all have the one thing in common, that they just hate Turtle Boy. And the majority of them started following this case due to their hatred for Turtle Boy. And so their hatred for Turtle Boy already makes them biased. And their credibility is fucked as far as their opinions. So it's pretty insane, actually, when you really think about it. So they don't know how to think. It's the only reason they don't know how to think is because it's coming. How can they think when the basis of their opinion is coming from hatred for another individual? There's no way to have logical thinking. There's no way to come to rational conclusions when all you're thinking, when all of your hatred is rooted from hatred for another human being. There's no way to have anything logical coming out of your face.
Well, I could say one thing. In the beginning, I thought they were talking about his Apple Watch, but it wasn't even that. So
right,
that was another big thing to me, because the Apple Watch to me is more accurate than my phone, going around with me.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a discrepancy between the health app data and the Waze data or the GPS, because the health app data is just somebody. I know we don't know if that's Rich Green making that interpretation or the app itself. That we don't know. We'll see during the trial. But somebody is interpreting change in elevation as going up and down stairs. So that's seems to me like the kind of thing that'd be pretty easy to not be accurate about. If she's driving slow, or I don't know how those apps work. But I know that GPS data is very solid. And the Waze, I mean, at 12:20, John, they were a little more than a mile away, and they know exactly where they are. And the Waze data shows that he searched for 34 Fairview. Now that's a 3-minute drive. And then the data also shows that they drove past the street. They missed it, the turnoff. So then they had to turn around. So you lose a few more seconds that way. While all of that was happening, that's when the health app data supposedly says he was going up and down 3 flights of stairs.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing about that data, it's any change in, I think it's a change of 10 meters counts as 1 flight of stairs. And like looking at, because I looked at all the roads in that area, and it's up and down. So easily. And I've recorded like 40 flights before when I've been in Seattle, and I did not climb 40 flights of stairs. So that's all it is. It's your elevation change. I think you probably have to be going slow.
My Apple data,
it knows you're in a car, but
my Apple data is so accurate. I count on that shit for fucking everything, bro. Dude. Like, I didn't go to the gym today. Today's a recovery day. And walking clubber, I've walked a total of 1.26 miles. Burned 167 calories out of the 290 calorie goal. Steps, 3,021 steps. And then when I click on it, I have stairs in my house. Climbed 11 flights of steps. Absolutely, totally. Doesn't even count the hill. I know I climbed up and down my steps 11 times today. So, I mean, this is yesterday. So, and this is just based on I mean, look at that. I climbed. Hold on, you can't see. Look at that, dude. 974 calories from my 290 goal. 21,000 steps, 8.72 miles. That's not even counting like lifting. That's just counting my steps. So like, there's definitely like a massive accuracy here. Like, I'm not going to sit here and doubt the accuracy of Apple Health. They count on it to be accurate. It's kind of the whole point.
Driving around slow looking for the house, like it's very easy to understand like that they're probably just like rolling along looking for numbers.
Yeah, but one thing I ask you guys that I haven't tried. So with your Apple Watch, it would probably not do that in the car, right? You know,
Apple Watch is a lot more accurate.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So like, it's not going to register steps on my watch sitting in the car, whereas it may on my phone.
Right, because your phone, like if you think about it, if it's in your hand and you're walking, it's very different movement than if it's in your pocket.
Right,
if
right.
it's in a top pocket, you know.
That's the stupidest fucking logic I ever heard in my goddamn life. Are you people fucking serious? Are you guys having like an open conversation about this? Is this supposed to be fucking funny? Are you kidding right now? Like, come on.
Watch, it would probably not do that in the car, right?
Wait.
Yeah, but one thing I ask you guys that I haven't tried. So with your Apple Watch, it would probably not do that in the car, right? You know,
Apple Watch is a lot more accurate.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So like, it's not going to register steps on my watch sitting in the car, whereas it may on my phone.
Right.
Why the fuck wouldn't it? Your Apple Watch is having the same movement as your phone if your phone's in your fucking pocket. Why wouldn't it have the same movement? Of course it's gonna track exactly the same thing. The only difference is the watch might be able to take your pulse. I don't even know. I don't have an Apple Watch, so I don't fucking know. But what's the difference? I mean, if it's in your pocket or it's in your, you know what I mean? I would think the phone would be more accurate, especially if it's in your pocket. It can track your steps. Whereas, what is it tracking your arm swinging from walking on your Apple Watch? So why would it be any different, really?
Right, because your phone, like if you think about it, if it's in your hand and you're walking, it's very different movement than if it's in your pocket.
Right,
if
right.
it's in a top pocket, you know, like so it's all over the map when it's on your phone.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Jules points out that the phone itself, like she said something about the seat going up and down, but yeah, the phone could be moving within the car a little bit too. Although I don't know how much that probably only accounts for what 3 or 4 feet at the most. So.
Why would the phone be moving?
Yeah, we don't even know if the app said that or if it's just Rich Green trying to say that. You got to remember these.
You know how fucking dumb that logic is? That the phone would move more in the car than the Apple Watch? Why would the phone move more in the car than the Apple Watch? The phone is sitting still in the car, guaranteed. The Apple Watch, you're wearing it. If you're driving, you're steering. If you're a passenger in the car, like John O'Keefe, well, then your hands are free to do whatever the fuck you want, and your arms are going to move a lot more than the phone that's sitting in the same spot doing whatever. Now, is it going to track GPS wise? Of course it is, because it's moving, but it's not tracking steps. It's not tracking steps. Like your Apple Watch is more likely to mistrack a step because you're fucking with the visor. You're going in the back and reaching for something. You're taking a sip of your drink that you took with you from the bar. You're picking up your phone and taking it out of your pocket, putting it back in your pocket. You're texting. You're doing all kinds of shit with your hands. So how in the fuck is your Apple Watch more likely going to be more accurate with movement than your phone? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Like how is your phone sitting still somehow going to mistrack steps and things like that more likely than an Apple Watch? Apple Watch moves around a lot more. That's insanely stupid and ignorant.
These defense lawyers go out, that's their job, and they find experts whose job is to testify for them. And it doesn't mean that they're lying, but they're going to find the most defense-friendly interpretation of the data.
Yeah, and make it fit this theory that they were coming up with. I mean, it just goes so nicely with everything, the dog and the Google search, all of that. Meanwhile, now I'm like looking at it like, imagine being Jen McCabe and you just get this phone call in the morning and you're trying to help out, and now all of a sudden you're like, soccer mom turned killer or a conspirator overnight.
Right. I mean, I think it's going to be huge when it comes out what actually went down, because if you think about it, why did they ever go back to Karen's house? Like, they must have really not believed her. She must have been really acting erratic. You know what I mean? Where they're like, all right, he never went to, like, he never got dropped off there, so like he's not there. So they must have just been like,
dude, they were out looking for him. He came from the house. Why wouldn't they? I mean, why wouldn't they check back? It makes sense to retrace your steps. It makes sense to go back to the house. If you're looking for the guy because he's missing, and the last place where you saw him and you knew of him being at was at 34 Fairview, well, then by all fucking means, you're not actually looking for him if you don't end up going back to 34 Fairview. I mean, why would you not go back to 34 Fairview?
I'm retarded?
Yes, Dr. Sam Beckett. You're probably right. Yes.
it's been like, we don't even believe this girl. She needs to drop her car at home because she is a drunk mess. And we need to like see what's going on.
Right.
So it's like
When you
very
see how they
obvious.
did that to make that fit, Turbo was like, well, they needed more time for the elements to get him. So
Like,
they
come
wasted time going back. What a little weird thing, but that's what they did. You know, they had the time to build that kind of connection for all of it. When really they're probably like, she's so drunk, let's go see what's going on, get her out of her car, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and I wonder, like, so Karen, you know how like she's caught on the cameras going back towards where
Mhm.
I don't know if she ended up finding it, but like it seems like to me like she was drunk. And at first I was like,
I'm still, I have not dismissed that possibility. I have not dismissed that possibility that Jen McCabe had a thing for John O'Keefe. I have not dismissed that possibility.
Like kind of sympathetic where I was like, oh, she just was so far gone that she like started to remember pieces, which I think maybe is what happened. But we haven't heard that voicemail, so like I think that might be the big thing where she's like, yeah, you broke the back of my fucking car.
I've
Like, you know what I mean?
explained this. I've explained this. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me to listen to people completely disregard all logic and rational thought. It's fascinating to watch people who can read do this. It's so I find it very entertaining. And I mean, these people are out there fucking saying this shit. You know what I mean? Like how can you not call it out for what it is? It's just too much.
There's a lot of things that I think none of us have seen that, you know, maybe the family has that, you know, makes them even more confident in their beliefs. But even without that, I think that they just, you know, they knew her, they knew their relationship, they knew what she was like. I mean, obviously, the story they tell is like, well, they wouldn't want to think that John's, you know, that other police officer would kill John. Do you think his family would want to think that his girlfriend would want to kill him? I mean, which one's better?
The one that was raising his kids, or the
Yeah. The stepmom. I'm sure that they weren't like, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the girlfriend that they didn't like, that that we now know for a fact that they didn't like, at least his brother, right? I mean, all indications from that Boston Globe interview, that sham of an interview, indicate that Paul O'Keefe does not care for Karen Reed, did not have a positive opinion of her. So, of course, this is easy for her to accept. The ex-girlfriend that they argued about, that they argued with each other, the ex-girlfriend who, like, I mean, dude, it's not uncommon for somebody's brother to have a problem with their significant other, to just be like, oh God, this chick, man. Fuck. You know, like that's a very common thing. I had one of those. My brother was one of those. You know what I mean? Had a few of them, actually. But it's not uncommon. You know? Like, why is that so hard to believe? It's actually more likely that they would accept that Karen Reed did it than a house full of, like, her logic makes no sense. Then a house full of cops. You know what I'm saying? Why would the O'Keefe family just all of a sudden just, if all of these people are sitting there going, no, we love John, he was our friend, and we're here to support you. If they're all doing that in their face, it's very easy for them to be blind to all of the other stuff that's happening, like them not wanting to even testify in order to get John O'Keefe justice, for them to not want not want anything to do with the case as witnesses or anything like that. That right there is telling that they are not interested in getting justice for John O'Keefe, because if they believe that Karen Read was guilty, then they would all be ready to testify on behalf of John O'Keefe to get him justice. If they believe that Karen Read actually did this, they would be enthusiastic about it. The person who John O'Keefe was in contact with all night over the phone, person who he was supposed to go and visit and hang out with, has done everything that she could to avoid having to have anything to do with this case. Why is that? And we're talking that we can even track this back to the 911 call, which we just played a little earlier. We can track this to her 911 call. From the 911 call, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. She sat in the car the entire time. She did not go jump out and take initiative and go into her sister's house and get blankets. Wake Brian Albert up for him to get the fastest possible response and use his pool, which we know he has in Canton, to get someone out there and respond to him quickly. There is a downed police officer in my lawn. I need help right now. She didn't do this. And then every action since has been shady as fuck.
Her, I'm sure that upset them too.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Some Brian Fitz just brought up about the taillight, that people bring this up a lot. I have this actually. I have the video to show this here. If you want to take, I made a smaller clip too. So if you want to take a look at this, give me a second. So he's saying that this doesn't show taillight. Pull this in this chat. All right, just gonna share the screen. He's saying that this doesn't show pieces missing, and that would be the key thing.
It depends which one.
Now this is, so I think most people watching know. Let's see if we got this here. All right, that this is at 5 a.m. when Karen pulls out. All right. And you can note the brake lights are also in the rear window, so they only go on at a certain time. Now, I actually have, let me pull up a better video than this. I have one that zooms in on it. Oh, there it is right there. Actually, it shows at the end of it. Okay. All right. So see right there, this is where I think, and I can't say with certainty, but see that white glare there?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I think there's a piece missing. So you don't see it from behind it. You'll see it from a side view on the corner.
Right.
And possibly some of the other videos might show this with Cassie's Corner convenience store or the library or something.
Right. You can see that something is off on the right side. I mean, that's clear. And that's a pretty, blurry.
You can see the white. Like, I think that's where, as I have a video where I zoom really close and it's like, you can see the light missing. Like, it's not like it's gone.
Right.
Like, that video where it's taken out and people are like, oh my God, where's our taillight go? They took it out.
Everybody's losing it over that.
That's
Why?
court evidence, because it's obviously going to be brought in the courtroom. Like, they're not going to keep it on the back of the car so the pieces fall out. But like, there's definitely pieces missing. So
I think we got a super dad.
What happened?
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Lane, thank you so much. Thanks for the live logic and laughs. Oh my fucking God. No more of this taillight BS. Yeah, I agree. I'm so fucking sick of the taillight dispute over and over and over again. I've got to be honest, because I think that it's a fucking moot point. I think it's a moot point. It makes no sense to argue about it right now. The chain of custody involving that piece of evidence is bullshit. There's nothing about the taillight that is damning to Karen Read in trial. Guaranteed.
She has the brake automatic braking. And in those texts, we saw Turtle Boy was concerned about that too. He's like, well, if she had automatic braking, like, we can't say that she hit her car backing out.
Right.
So, right, you can't say that.
That's always my question. So did she just ignore? This is what I think, and everyone can come at me. You know, she set up that little situation to be like, well, that's how I broke or cracked or shattered, whatever, the taillight. But we all know that if she's reversing about to hit something, her car's going to let her know. You know, some cars again have the automatic brake system where it stops for you. So, you know, did you just turn it off? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I do have some interesting information to add to that.
Or she didn't hit him. I mean, dude, this lady is killing me right now. She's completely full of shit.
Right, you can't say that.
That's always my question. So did she just ignore? This is what I think, and everyone can come at me. You know, she set up that little situation to be like, well, that's how I broke or cracked or shattered, whatever, the taillight. But we all know that if she's reversing about to hit something, her car's going to let her know. You know, some cars again have the automatic brake system where it stops for you. So, you know, did you just turn it off? I don't know.
Right.
What do you guys think?
And there's data. There's data that can show this. There's data in this. There's data in this vehicle. What year and model is Karen Reed's Lexus SUV? Anybody know? It's a 2021. It's a 2021. Okay, but what is a Lexus what? Lexus 570. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me do this. Hold on. Okay, so the Lexus says this. A range of personal data is registered on your Lexus multimedia system. Okay, the Lexus Link app, blah, 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 when selling your Lexus. Okay, so after deleting personal data from your Lexus multimedia system, okay, that's from the multimedia system. It says, important note, you will not be able to retrieve your data once it's been deleted. We recommend reading your vehicle owner's manual for additional details and limitations. Lexus accepts no liability for these instructions and or consequences of any actions taken on the information provided. So let me see. Does Lexus vehicle have a vehicle recovery system? No, that's not the question I want. So I'm not finding anything just via Google, but I want to know if it has a system that records all of these things. If her reverse, if there was a thing that stops her automatically from hitting something, if that data can be recovered. Now, the thing is that Proctor and Buchanan stated that the data could not be recovered, that they don't have the data, right? The vehicle data that indicates whether or not, I mean, we're talking about the video footage of her in reverse, the video camera, the reverse video camera, infotainment system. Okay, infotainment system. Can data be recovered? Can data be recovered from the infotainment. Boom. What data does Alexis collect? We collect your driving behavior data. Okay, here we go. We collect your driving behavior data. This is from Lexus. We collect your driving behavior data, which includes the acceleration and speed at which your vehicle is driven, travel direction, use of the steering and braking functionality in vehicle, and vehicle operation data, e.g. sensor readings. So that absolutely is a thing. I mean, it's right there. So, people, yeah, thank you for that. The infotainment. Thank you. So that data is absolutely is collected and can absolutely be recovered, but for some reason it's lost. It's gone. Why is it lost and gone? I mean, that proves right there. In my opinion, that proves Karen Reed's innocence. If you don't have that, because if the Lexus actually has features that record these events, that record all of those things that I just named, then that should easily be recovered and that should be used to prosecute Karen Reed. But unfortunately, it's not available. Why is it not available? Why is it not available? Why is the library video not available? Here we are, folks. Here we are where we don't have jack shit. All of the evidence used against Karen Reed. Now, this is exculpatory evidence. Make no mistake that if the data is recovered and there's no events on it, that exonerates Karen Reed. Why wouldn't it? And the actual phone they used to take the crime scene pics is nowhere to be found. Neither is the metadata available. Why? Why was an iPhone even used to take crime scene photos? Nobody's asking these questions.
Well, I do have some interesting information to add to that. I think I've reported this for the last couple of weeks, but in case you hadn't heard it, that this is interesting. So Karen has a cousin in Florida who's an attorney and who's been helping her since early on in this case. That may have been where she fled to a couple weeks ago. I don't know. When the warrant, it was interesting how the police got a warrant for her phones and within hours she was on a plane.
I know, that's not suspicious.
Maybe that's a coincidence, but
I don't think so.
But according to messages, according to Natalie,
I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we.
Hayden Kane, thank you so much. I think the fact that there is no photos of the Lexus before they towed it from her parents' house says a lot. This is exactly why they would do that. Agreed. I think that's very telling as well. I also think that it's very telling that the tow truck driver was interviewed, and the tow truck driver says we saw no damage to the vehicle and we would have taken pictures. But the thing is if the vehicle, at least the taillight, was damaged as much as they're saying it was, then they would have noticed that. They would have taken pictures so that they didn't, so so that they weren't liable for it.
Or eventually working with her, that it was the cousin in Florida that first noticed on the Ring video that Karen bumped into John's car. And so it sounds like Karen wasn't even aware of it until her cousin noticed it.
Oh, interesting.
That's
It'll
interesting.
help her, I guess. Well, for now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I saw something in Discovery where they said the cars were moved, where his car was in the driveway in the last video, and then the videos disappeared, and then there's that video that we just looked at.
Right.
So, I mean, that would mean that she knew she smashed up the taillight. She was hiding her car because she's like, oh crap. She's calling. I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting when the voicemails come out. But like, what was she thinking? Was she just gonna hide her car? Like, she probably thought she was gonna get arrested for drunk driving, like assault. She probably didn't think he was dead, and so she hid her car in there and like was like, why the hell isn't he answering? And
Yeah,
then
I mean, she
to
did
look.
call him a lot. She did call him a lot. And I think all of that kind of leans towards she was
See, these people are like, we need to know. Like, I can't wait until the voicemails come out. I can't wait until the voicemails come out, right? Because this way you're going to hear Karen Reed say, I hate you, and blah, 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 right? Okay. But the thing is, though, we know that her voicemails say that. You know how I know that they're not going to find anything that says, I'll kill you, or I'm going to kill you, or anything like that? Because the prosecution has not stated this. Because they give all their details of these voicemails, like, I hate you, and other indications that she's angry with him, but doesn't state she straight up said, I'll kill you. So, again, I'm not seeing any type of like actual confession taking place here. Because the only confession, even something that even remotely resembles a confession, is an EMT worker saying, well, she said, I hit him. And then Karen Reed saying, I said it in the form of a question. And even in Jennifer McCabe's statement, she says that she said it in the form of a question. And then, so, but we know that Jen McCabe doesn't want to take the stand. Why doesn't Jen McCabe want to take the stand? Well, most likely because she's going to have to answer for her inconsistencies, her blatant inconsistencies. And she doesn't want to do that.
He was wasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of thought maybe she hit him. I mean, just the fact that in her interviews, and these are on TV. That was another big thing that I forgot to say. That in her videos, she's like, I thought, maybe in his drunkenness, again, it's his fault, where I unwittingly clipped him. And, it's like, how do you think that? And then you're like, oh, but I saw him go to the door too. That was the big moment for me. I was like, that's it. I was like, you can't see him go to the door and think that you hit him at the same time and say that you weren't drunk, that you only had 4. I mean, that was just another moment for me where I was like, not possible.
And even the defense had not, when they put forward their theory in April, and that was part of their motion to try to get Brian Albert's phone. That's when they first put this theory out there. And then they also we're feeding it to Turtle Boy, and he put it out 6 days later.
Why wouldn't Brian Albert just give up his phone? Because you could sit here and be like, oh, well, they have the right to privacy, don't they? Well, but if they're trying to make sure to get a fellow police officer justice, why is that anything but suspicious that he wouldn't give up his phone? I mean, they can't convict him on anything that they find that's unrelated to John O'Keefe's death. So obviously he's afraid of what they're going to find that's related to John O'Keefe's death, and he wouldn't give up the phone. Why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't he give up his phone in order to get a fellow police officer justice if Karen Reed is so fucking guilty?
But even in that, nobody ever mentions Karen seeing John go up to the house. And in her original statements to the police, she didn't say that. So this was something that was invented over the course of the summer, seemingly,
Yeah.
A lot of things were invented this summer because it's like 18 months went by, and it's like the fact that she stopped talking to like his family and the kids and like
right away.
Carl Dougal and his girlfriend, who they like went out with all the time and stuff. It's like if she really did just find him dead in front of the house like that, she would be talking to everybody. Like, what do you think happened? Trying to get to the bottom of it. You wouldn't just stay silent and then 18 months come out with a conspiracy theory.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
And on top of that, if she's these kids that John, that became John's kids, this morning that this all happens, she's like disappears, it's like that's it. How do you leave the kids with this loss after they've gone through their other first set of parents passing away and not stay and console them, whether you did it or not? It's like, how do you just not try to console the kids?
Mm-hmm. She was in cover up mode right away.
I know. It's like, at least try to make it look like you care, so that it doesn't.
How do you know she didn't do that? How do you know what her interaction with these kids are or what they aren't? Where's your inside info as to what her exact interactions were with the kids that John O'Keefe was caring for and Karen Reed? I'd love to know what your source for that information is. Like, what do you know? How do you know? I mean, if they're already trying to pin this on her, how do you know that she wasn't allowed to talk to the kids?
It doesn't look so obvious, but I don't know.
So what was some of the evidence that first pushed you guys? I know you mentioned a little bit there, but what's the one that really pushed you into the guilty camp? If you can recall it.
I think like Richard Green's, or whatever his name is, Green's report, like just reading that compared to how the defense presented it was just like, it was like how they're like, Jen McCabe was up all night pacing back and forth. Her health data shows her getting home, maybe going to the bathroom one time, and then waking up when Karen was calling. It's not pacing. Like they just so mischaracterized everything in there. Like her heart rate was the lowest.
Now, I kind of agree with that too. We don't know. We don't know exactly what Jennifer McCabe's demeanor was when she got home and whether or not she was pacing back and forth based on her Apple Health data. You don't know that. I mean, she could have been walking to the cabinet to get some cereal, then walked to the fridge to get some milk, and then walked over here and then walked over here. I mean, you don't know exactly what the actions were of Jen McCabe when she got in there, but the fact that her heart rate was high and the fact that she was moving all around the house just before a 227 Google search took place. I mean, let's just be honest here.
The lowest it was all day when he was supposed to be murdered inside the house.
Yep.
Like it's just, I don't know. Like I don't even know how they got away with that. Like, can't she sue them for that? Like,
I
what
think
they did
people
to
are
her.
getting sued after this. I have a feeling a lot of people are getting sued after this. I think, but that's another one of your videos that I was like, oh my gosh, if he's right, and she was just kind of chilling and went to the bathroom once, then that's completely different than what they were trying to make it sound like. Like she's waiting all night. Is she gonna call me? Is she gonna call me? How did they even know that that would be the first person Karen would call? You know, it could have been. I mean, maybe it wasn't. I mean, we'll see. But there's no way she was waiting up all night for that. She didn't even think it was possible that that would happen.
Right. That's a really good point that you brought up, Matt, about the heart rate data. And the only time it went up was at the accident, at the scene when where John was found, and then it went up and stayed up for about an hour. It was over 100.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're conspiring with 20 people that were so the night before, I'm pretty sure your heart rate's gonna go up. Your friend just died. It's not, that's the other thing. Jen was friends with John, like helping him raise the kids and helping him with things. He was basically a single guy minus Karen, and he probably went to her for help with things because the daughters were friends. So now she's gonna kill him one night after a few cocktails. I don't know.
This was I talked about a couple episodes a couple months ago. An attorney who wrote a long article about this back in September. His name is Kevin Mahoney, but he was saying,
yeah, she's gonna cover up. She's going to cover up for her brother-in-law. She's going to cover up for her husband. She's going to cover up for she has more reason to cover up for all of the men in that house than John O'Keefe because they were not actually any closer than family. You've got Matt McCabe who's inside the house. You've got Brian Albert who's inside the house. You've got Nicole Albert who's Jen McCabe's sister, who's married to Brian Albert. This is family. Of course. The fuck are you thinking, lady? What are you thinking? If you're sitting here and you're like, well, this is her friend and she's not gonna, well, of course not. She doesn't give a shit about John in comparison to her sister and her husband. That's an easy choice.
You're going to have Jen on the stand in front of a jury and try to tell the jury that she's a true psychopath, sociopath in order to plan all these things and have no feelings about them. And to me, even like if she was involved in the murders, when that phone call comes a little after 5, you don't pick up the call. You stay out there,
Oh no, she had to go she had to pick her up and then plant the story in Karen's mind. That was her. She had many roles that night, Jen. many roles.
I don't even think Karen had her phone number either. She had to go to her daughter. So how would she have planned that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I know. She woke the niece up to ask for the number because she didn't have it.
Well, she knew
another thing that we haven't heard the full thing, but they always have an excuse is the interviews with the niece and nephew about their relationship and what was going on. So the cult decides that the answer to that is that Jen, of course, got to the kids and she convinced them that Karen did this. So that's why they said what they said, which is crazy.
So apparently this statement came out from.
All right. So clearly clearly that these people are picking and choosing evidence, and they're trying to find inconsistencies in what Karen Reed is saying, and they're saying and they're trying to somehow defend Jen McCabe's actions. I'm telling you, Jen McCabe's actions are in the top 3 reasons why I think Karen Reed is innocent. The way that Jen McCabe has behaved this entire time, and her statements, everything about Jen McCabe is in my top 3 reasons as to why I think that Karen Reed is innocent. I mean, so these people are just running their mouths about nonsense. And it's clearly, like I said, it's clearly based on, they all started this off, all indicating that the reason why they started talking about this case and the reason why they felt that Karen Reed was guilty was after they read Turtle Boy stuff and started following Turtle Boy. I mean, that tells me everything that I need to know. It tells me everything I need to know. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I really, really appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys for all of the likes. Thank you guys for all of the support. And listen, only 9 more subscriptions, people. 9 more subscriptions and I hit 25,000. So that would be really, really cool. If you guys have not hit the subscribe, please do so. It would really help me out. And again, thank you guys so much for spending your Monday evening with me. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy it. Now tomorrow there's a hearing. If it's at 2:00 in regards to the impoundment of the federal findings filed by the Boston Globe, I think. Something to that effect. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if that, I'm gonna definitely do a live about this tomorrow. If the hearing is being streamed, I will absolutely stream it. So everything regarding John O'Keefe / Karen Reed, I will absolutely bring to you guys. And yes, once this trial starts, I will be streaming this trial daily, every single time. Guys, like I said, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. More than likely, I'll see you tomorrow, no matter what. But I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking to you guys. I love all of you guys. Thank you for joining me. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.